always dance during that. I don't know if
Me
anybody
too.
else will see it.
Oh no, we were both dancing.
I love it. I mean, I think it's the right thing to do.
It is.
All right, because again, I rushed into this and didn't type down the date. What is the date?
Today it's the 11th.
Yeah, because if I don't type it on the page in front of me, I'm gonna say it wrong.
I mean, you say it wrong even if you do have it typed in front of you.
Yeah, that's true.
Oh, yeah, I mean, you're not wrong. You're not wrong. It does happen that way. But let us get started because we have a lot to do. All right. I'm just going to start it. We're not going to do our intros for this one.
Okay.
It's the Culture Smash Cast, episode 613 for January the 11th, 2023. I'm Stephen Lackey, editor of the Culture Smash Cast. Nico?
Nicholas Qualls, contributor to the Culture Smash Cast.
Tina?
Tina Qualls, contributor to the Culture Smash Cast.
Nathan?
Nathan Savino, contributor to Culture Smash Cast.
Zach?
Zach. I've seen some films.
A few films. You've seen a few films?
Yeah.
Just a little.
Yeah. I think ours could be more accurately attributed to a few films.
Well, I guess you did a couple of things
Yeah.
this year. One or two things. All right. So before we get into, we are doing our best of 2022 films, top 10s. Before we get into it, let me just remind you, if you're listening and not part of the stream, you should join us every Wednesday night live on YouTube and Twitch. Those are our two primary spots at 7:15 CST, and join the conversation. And we also want to say a special thanks to Skinny Mixes for supporting the Culture Smash Cast. Skinny Mixes are coffee and dessert syrups. I'm really fucking this up. 0 sugar, 0 calorie, and 0 to 2 carbs. Head on over to skinnymixes.com and try some of their syrups, such as the white chocolate, salted dark chocolate, and salted caramel, and the variety of cocktail mixes they offer, including the margarita, which is one of my favorites, and their different fruit flavor infusions. Use promo code CultureSmash for 15% discount on your order. If you spend $50, you can get the free shipping too, which is the way I would recommend it. And I wonder how some of those infusions would be with the soju that we are enjoying tonight.
Man.
Cheers.
Cheers.
Me and Zach are going to get a little buzz going. While
That
we do
was
this
a
top
nice
10.
clean. I'm
That
just
was a
saying,
good
that
one.
was a very
The audio
nice
was
clean.
clean.
Right? All right. So what we're doing is running down our top films of 2022. Zach and I watched the Golden Globes last night and live messaged back and forth during them. We shit talked them for better or for worse. It was a really weird awards ceremony, though.
Yeah.
Yeah, the awards were all over the place.
They really were.
It was cringe one moment and then just bland the next, then boring, then back to cringe.
It will
That
be
host.
interesting to see the Screen Actors Guild Awards because I think they're announcing the nominations this week. Yeah.
Brendan Fraser did not win.
Brendan Fraser got shut out of this awards,
which is stunning,
of the Golden Globes. And also, I mean, for the most part, other than like two kind of major awards, Everything Everywhere All at Once got shut out too.
Maybe they're being shut out because they're going to win a lot of Oscars?
I don't know.
No.
The
That
award
does
press is
happen
so different, though.
occasionally. But yeah.
Or maybe they agree with my opinion that it fucking sucked.
Spoiler alert for Nathan's list. I said
It's not
Nathan's
on there.
list.
It's not on there.
So yeah, we have our Oscar game. That'll be the next big thing coming up, and we'll schedule that as soon as we get the. Do you know when we're getting the nominations? Is it the same date every year, or is it like? I know it's in February.
It's in February.
Oh man, that means I got to come up with another randomized way to do the
Oh my
the
god.
picking.
Yeah, I enjoyed that last year.
So we're gonna do that, and
So-
also, all right, go ahead. What do you have?
Where are the nominations?
Okay, so while he's looking to see if we have an actual date, I'll just give a quick update on. We're not going to do a fantasy film ball update, but I will say that the fantasy film ball game that we did with the TikTok people that listened to us was really fun, and they also want to do a Oscar game, so we'll have them on our Oscar list too. It'll be great.
January 24th.
Oh, I thought it was February, so we're getting them January 24th. So we'll play the Oscar game sometime early February. We'll make that decision soon.
Sounds good.
Yep. And I don't know. Maybe we could figure out. I don't know what your schedule is to be in town, Nathan, but that would be cool if we can work that out.
Yeah, that would be nice. I get my schedule January 16th, so we'll be able to schedule more.
Awesome. All right. So let's start with the way we always traditionally start. Is I want to know, start with Nico, and we'll work our way around what your criteria were this year for picking your top 10.
I had to have seen it, which narrowed the list down significantly. Unfortunately, we kind of alluded to earlier. Both Tina and I are just suffering from the fact of, being new parents this past year with, and then moving and all sorts of stuff took over a lot of our time that we would otherwise spend at the theater. So we try to watch as much as we can. The top stuff on my list both resonated with me emotionally in a way that I think is just going to hold true as time continues, while still being very entertaining in terms of comedic, funny, laughs, on edge of my seat, just captivated by where this story is going to go, captivated by the performances of the cast, just well-produced material. So, yeah, it starts out 10. It's just like, I'm entertained by this. I think it's reasonable. And then the top of the list is just like, this really impressed me, and I think is going to be a seminal work in all of the cast and crew's career going forward.
Okay. And I have a sneaking suspicion we're going to cross the streams on some very specific movies.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'll cross streams with you if you want to cross streams with me.
Okay, perfect.
Don't cross the
okay.
streams.
Sword fight.
That's what I was alluding to.
So, Tina, what is your criteria?
My criteria is how much fun I had. Rewatchability. Like, if I see a movie once and I'm like, okay, that was a really good movie, and I never watch it again, it's not going to be on my top 10. Again, just how much fun I have, how much excitement I have leading up to it, and then how much excitement I have coming out of the theater, or after the movie, because some of these we did not see in theater, and just overall enjoyment.
Nice. All right, Zach, did you have a specific criteria for choosing your top 10 this year?
Yeah, so my picks can only be made from films that I've seen in the theater. It may be true that Netflix has some good stuff. Guess what? They didn't release it in theaters. Boo, fucking who? Obviously, story is king, writing is king. But this year, there's of course rewatchability. There's someone turning off their fucking phone
Hey,
notifications.
listen, I need to be reminded when I have supplements to take.
But in-theater experience is a big one this year. Several films of mine were just blasts. Rewatchability is a big one.
Yeah.
I mean, am I buying these on 4K?
Yeah.
Well, I bought 1, 2, 3. I plan to do 4, 5, 6, and 7 when they eventually come out. Maybe 8 of my 10. Yeah.
So, spoiler alert, I will probably be buying my entire top 20.
Damn.
On physical media. I will. So for me, I'm the same as you. It had to be a theatrical experience. Now, it used to be when we first started this, that was a requirement for even doing this top 10.
Well, COVID happened, and some people
became adults, and it's just, and also I think
I've heard about that. Maybe one day I'll do that. Exactly.
And I also think there's a situation where the quality of some films has kind of caught up, but I think usually when that happens, it was a movie that was supposed to be in the theater and it got bumped.
Yeah.
So yeah, you kind of have to like cut the strings on that. But for me personally, I'm the same as you. If I didn't see it in the theater, it's not making my list. And when you see 100 movies, as I did last year, you got stuff to pick from. You got stuff to pick from.
Then 10% of your movies are going to be on your list. Yeah.
Yeah. And it's funny because Nathan's like, so I could go to your letterbox and figure out what your list is. And I'm like, you would think that. But if it's better than 3.5, if it's a 3.5 or higher, it's got potential to be in my list. So for me, and that's a lot of movies in my list. It's probably 25, 30 movies at least in my list. So, but for me this year, it was interesting because this year was a very thematic year, more of a thematic year than in previous years. There are two running themes that accidentally work through my entire top 10. And I'm not going to get into what those are right now because it would spoil the list in a lot of ways. But for me, it's usually about theatrical experience and innovation, and that stuff still matters. But this year is weirdly personal. The movies that made my top 10, especially my top 5, but my top 10 in general, were movies that affected me personally, and movies that, again, rewatchability for sure is a thing. But if it can impact me personally, then I'm going to rewatch it over and over again. That's just the thing. So I think that's weirdly it is things that were cinematic and personal. And that's how I got into my list this year. And I had to narrow it like that because it was so fucking hard this year. I finalized my list about an hour and a half ago.
I was about to say about 3 hours for me.
Yeah. So, and I could still switch. I could still switch my 5 through 10 around, and I could find an argument to switch them around. Now my top 3 are golden. Those
Super
are
locked.
untouchable. Yeah. But yeah, so that's kind of where my mindset was. Nathan, what is your criteria?
Well, we all know I'm easy. So
Well,
Yeah, we
But,
know.
but no, we're talking about your criteria for films.
Yeah.
I'm kind of like Tina. I got to be entertained, rewatchable. What's weird, and spoiler for my list, this is the first year I don't have a Marvel film in it. So I'm kind of shocked with myself in this list. And some of these I'm pretty sure y'all haven't seen. So,
and that's why I'm right.
And that's why we like to do this, because it's
Yeah.
recommendation time.
yeah.
I can
I think that's
guarantee.
great.
Yeah,
if
no
I-
one's list is better than anyone else's.
My list is better than Nico's.
And my list is better than Zach's.
I can guarantee most of your lists, except for Tina's, is better than mine.
But yeah, that my favorite thing about last year's list is that I got all of you guys to watch the first wave. You might have hated me for it, but we all loved it.
Dude,
So that's my
that
favorite
was
thing
an
about this.
intense movie.
That was very intense.
It is. I wish they would do a physical release of that. I would love to
Only
have
time I've stopped a movie and gone, I need tissues for this.
it.
I paused it just to like catch my breath because
Yeah,
of how intense it
I
was.
just need to breathe. It's like I didn't need the tissues, but I just like.
Oh no,
I'm
I
anxiety
gave up on
is
needing the
high
tissues.
right now.
I just
needed-
cried into my shirt.
Yeah.
Yeah, I did too. So if you're listening or watching, if you haven't seen the first wave, it is still on Hulu. I think you should go see it. And also, not in any of our lists because it's not a new release movie, but if you want to see a really great documentary, I recommend there's a little documentary that's still available on Tubi called Family of Fear. It's so good.
Yeah,
You should go to Tubi and take a look at
Yeah,
that.
there's
Yeah.
a really funny part where somebody goes, "Oh shit,"
No.
No.
or
They
was
go,
it
Oh, fucking shit.
Oh,
Yeah.
fucking shit.
oh
Yeah.
fucking shit? Sorry,
Yep.
Mm.
I had the censored version.
All right, so let's start our top 10. Who wants to go first
I'll
for
go
the number
first.
10?
Oh, Tina.
All
will
right,
go first.
Tina's going to go with them. All right, then we'll go with Tina. And so that I don't have to keep changing the camera, we'll go with Nico after.
Okay. So number 10 is by Amazon Prime called My Best Friend's Exorcism. Stars Elsie Fisher, Amia Miller, Rachel Ogeshi Kanu. I hope I said that right. Directed by Damon Thomas. It's based off the novel by Grady Hendrix. It's a coming of age story kind of two girls in high school, Catholic private school kind of deal. One of them gets possessed, and the other one, it's set in the 80s, so you don't have like the modern technology, but one of like their best friendship kind of relationship is what saves the girl from the demon, and it's all about how she goes about saving her friend from being possessed. And it's
So is this definitely like a YA type of thing?
yeah, it's definitely a YA type of thing. The funny thing about it is the ending is completely different from the book, like the final exorcism, which isn't as impactful as it was in the book. But one of the reasons it is on my top 10 is because some of the scenes, Nico and I watched it because we both read the book. And we were like, that scene is exactly how I imagined it in the book. Like verbatim, that is exactly how I pictured it in the book. And it's really hard to find book to movie adaptations that have just even some scenes like that, let alone like a couple more than what this one has. So
I'm a little bit annoyed because you actually told me to watch it, and then it slipped my mind because I wasn't keeping an ongoing list because I should have watched it. I didn't know it was good enough to make your top 10. That changes everything.
well, keep in mind I only saw 17 movies, so
Still, you wrote that down, right? Okay, good, because I do want to revisit some of these. All right, Nico.
Mine is Kenneth Branagh's Death on the Nile. It's just like a fun ensemble. I like ensemble pieces where you get to see good actors just kind of chew the scenery. I think that the main knocks I would give the movie is that the scenery looks terrible. And I wholeheartedly agree with that. But I like Kenneth Branagh's Perot. I think he's fun in the role. I like some of the cast in there. It's Armie Hammer's probably last movie in Hollywood, so that's something. But yeah,
I hated this movie. I hated it.
Yeah,
Oh.
it's not higher on my list. So I was going back and forth on it, and it has stuff that I do enjoy about the movie. I do like Murder on the Orient Express better. And I kind of hope we are getting a new one, and I hope that the next one's a little bit better than this one. But it wasn't too bad. It's not my favorite murder mystery on my list. We'll get to that later. But yeah.
Uh-oh.
I think I know what you're talking about. Yeah, I know what that is.
This was early on in my Pushing 100 when that finally came to theater, and we kept thinking that movie was going to get pushed.
Dude, we saw that trailer for like 2.5 years.
And the thing that shocks me about it is they had 2.5 years to make the boat
to clean it up
real.
Yeah.
And it looked like garbage.
It does.
Like, and I remember like thinking back to my Letterboxd review on that movie it wasn't just that the CGI was bad. It was bad, but it was made worse in a lot of scenes where the lighting, do you remember me saying this? The lighting didn't match on their faces when they're on the deck to the light that was done in CGI. And I was like, how does this happen? Upside, Gal Gadot.
Yeah.
I liked her. She was beautiful in the movie. So
fun fact about that movie.
Yep.
It was shot on 70 millimeter.
Yeah. Didn't it go to IMAX?
No, it's not IMAX. It's 70 millimeter.
Film.
Yeah.
You wouldn't know it. I would not have known it because it's layered so heavy with CG. I would think, and I don't remember, it wasn't like due to like COVID or anything, was it? Wasn't it shot kind of before COVID?
No, it was before COVID. I remember 2019 seeing the trailer for it.
Yeah, I was going to say, it just got held up because of COVID, I guess. It didn't hit theaters until...
Yeah. I remember going to see Tenet, and it's like, God, we got to sit through this trailer again.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, this tells me a lot about what to expect about Nico's list.
Listen.
The struggle is real.
I love how we preface this like, nobody's list is better than the other. And then we start talking
staring into Nico's list.
I can't help it. Oh. All right.
Like I said, I just have to get through the first like 2 or 3, and then after that, I'm much more confident in my choice.
Okay, good. Things start looking up after that.
Yeah.
Well, since we're talking about shitty number 10s, let's hear what Nathan's number 10 is.
Damn!
Wow.
I love you.
I lost him under the bus.
I love you.
Man, you could have gone a lot better. Here's what it should have been. You should have opened with, since we're talking about shitty bottoms, let's go to Nathan.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
I wouldn't want to insult him like that.
I use fiber, peeps. Okay, it is a clean ass bottom.
You know, that's a side of him I'm not quite. I don't know a whole lot about.
Nathan be douching. He's good.
I be douching very well. All right, so on to my list.
Onto the list.
My number 10 was a Netflix movie, The Luckiest Girl Alive, and it stars Mila Kunis. And for me, what really drew me to this movie and why it made the top 10, it's a very character-driven film. It's based off a book. It also makes me want to read this book. Really good story, arch to it. Yeah, it's just a really good movie.
What's it about?
I mean, I don't want to give too much spoilers away, but it's
give me a taste.
All right, so this.
I mean, okay, so let's be a little bit clear about this just a little bit. These movies are 2022 movies. They've all been out for a minute. I don't think we should go hardcore spoiling, but if we dip our toe in a little bit,
All right.
I think it would be understood. So
Mila Kunis
some
is-
of us I haven't seen this, so I don't want you to completely spoil it. But just
It's
tell us
not
what
like
it's about.
One Cut of the Dead.
Yeah,
Well,
it's not like that.
Here's the thing. I mean, Mila Kunis's character goes through a traumatic childhood, and she builds her own life, or what she wants out of her life, and it kind of turns out that's not exactly how she wants, but more of her back trauma story gets revealed as the movie goes on. It deals with like rape and social hierarchy within a school system and parent dynamics and stuff like that. So it was something I could kind of relate to.
I see.
Having childhood trauma myself. So that's why it kind of probably more bumped up on my list and definitely more intriguing. I hear the book is way better, but the acting by Mila Kunis, she's a talent. Like, we're used to her and comedy and stuff like that, where she is more dramatic in this role. So
Is there a movie you think you would compare it to? Like it's similar?
no. I mean, well, okay. There was another movie early on in the year that could have made my list, but so many things came out. It's called The Fallout. It has Jenna Ortega and Maddie Ziegler, and it kind of deals with like school shooting, violence, stuff of that nature. This kind of ties into that. It was similar in that regards as far as the trauma.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, but
It
you didn't
sounds
see
like-
you didn't see the Fallout either. So
No, I didn't. But the Fallout that has Jenna Ortega, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. I heard good things. Good things.
I mean,
This
it was
sounds
really
like
good.
this sounds like an Ada, like My Girlfriend movie. This sounds like an Ada movie for sure.
Yeah, I think Tina would actually like it too.
I was thinking
Probably.
Tina also.
Have
I
you
was thinking
heard-
Tina.
The book's been on my TBR for a while.
Yeah,
Okay.
everyone tells me to read the book, or everyone I've talked to about it has told me to read the book because the book is really good. But they said they did a really good job with the movie.
It doesn't initially sound like something that would be in my wheelhouse, but I do like Mila Kunis. So
I think it's definitely not the variety of movies you're used to watching, but I think you would appreciate a lot of aspects of it.
okay. So that is the one thing that was great about pushing 100 and why I'm doing 150 this year is it made me look at some stuff that I normally wouldn't look at. So that's been really cool. So I'm gonna try to be open-minded.
And it's on Netflix, so
Okay, cool. All right. Let's go to Zachy Boy.
Well,
Number 10.
my
sir.
number 10 famously
Yes.
has always been the guilty pleasure.
I
don't
know.
think this is
I
famous.
did not have a guilty pleasure this year.
Yeah, I don't think it's that famous.
Poor KJ.
Damn.
Yeah, Malignant was your number 10 last year, I
Yeah,
remember.
which
Yeah.
stupid.
It's still
You
so
dumb.
fucking
You
good.
dumb.
It's
You
a piece of
stupid.
shit. It's amazing. I didn't have that this year, but what I did have was a little independent film that shockingly got released, and I took my ass to the theater to see this.
Mhm.
I had a damn fine time.
Yep.
A little film called Terrifier 2.
Terrifier 2.
It was a damn good year for horror.
It was a really good year for horror.
You might see that trend across my top 10. Damien Leone.
Yeah.
Or Damien Leone.
Damien Leone, I think is the pronunciation.
He made Terrifier back in.
Which was he was a special effects guy.
Yeah.
That's where he came out of. And when you watch Terrifier, the first one, it's just literally a demo. There's no story. It's just a demo for how good a kills he can do.
Yes. And he took all the criticism of that film and said, let's make something better.
Hot take on this also. We can talk about this now because it's not on my list.
Damn. Did this
Not
get bumped?
It got bumped. This is
Damn.
not on my list, but it was temporarily on my list. So continue.
What I love about it is, I mean, the plot is pretty simple. Art the Clown comes back a year later after his horror killing spree, and we have a new host of characters that fall in the lines of his sights, but there's a little twist in there that is a little bit more meat on the bone than just girl screaming.
There's an actual story for what it is.
Yeah. Art the Clown is fucking scary,
Like
man.
I never have been affected by clowns. Like
He's
they
a mime,
don't
technically,
even
but-
even it doesn't really work on me as far as being scared. He's scary as shit, nihilistic, mean as fuck. Like
Mashed potatoes.
oh,
You know?
scariest dinner scene of the year for sure. Scariest dinner scene.
It's just a damn good time. It's similar in a way to how I keep using this. Like Devil's Rejects is like a 70s grindhouse film. It's not a imitation
Or an
it just-
homage.
it
It just
is.
is one of those. Except this is 80s.
This is 80s.
So here, think about this.
It's
which
perfect.
Which Nightmare on Elm Street is it? Dream Warriors, where the opening of it is the girl building the Freddy house, but she's doing it with paper mache.
Yeah.
That opening sequence with I think Dio music playing, like that kind of heavy 80s music, and you think about the opening credits of this movie, it gave me chills. I'm like, shit, this is it.
Like
this is it.
amazing soundtrack. Like even down to the shitty mom acting.
Yeah.
Like which is standard in 80s horror films. It was
Yeah.
like this is right at home, baby.
It's
It was
and
shocking it got a release.
It's-
Uncut, unrated in the theaters and it
It's
made
so-
$10 million.
it's so damn
Hell
good.
yeah.
There is a special feature on there where they're talking about that movie, and they use so much blood in one particular scene that the actor got stuck to the floor.
And you know what scene it is when
Yeah.
you see it.
Yeah, you do. And they had to like peel that actor from the floor. It's so I agree with you. It's not in my top 10, but that, to me, that just should tell you. And here's the reason: script. Everything in my top 10 is better written than that movie. And that's
This goes back to my number 10. Like I'm gonna give you love, baby. You're number 10. You know there are technically better films,
yep.
but you always got to shout out the ones that need attention.
Yeah,
And
and
Fighter 2
I agree.
needs some damn love.
I agree. Yeah, and I was very sad to remove it from my list. Are you ready? So here is hot take number 1 of our top 10 list.
Oh boy, this is going to be a long one.
And this one is only a hot take because of the place I chose to put it. And this is for Zach. It is a hot take because my number 10 is a little movie called Babylon.
Okay, I can see that.
It is Damien Chazelle's movie. It is a send up of the earliest days of 1920s era of film when movies were first starting. And it really, like the name Babylon, should really tell you what to expect with the movie. It's about the, I don't know,
Pleasures.
the overindulging of everything. And it has an amazing cast with Margot Robbie and Brad Pitt taking turns stealing every fucking scene that they're in. Brad Pitt comes into this movie and reminds you, oh, this is why Brad Pitt is who he is, because
This is why I get paid the big bucks.
yeah. And so this movie follows Margot Robbie's character. What is the other actor? The other actor's name that's in it. I'm drawing a blank. There's 3 main kind of primary actors.
Diego Calva.
Diego Calva, that's it. It
Yeah,
follows
yeah.
his character. He is a production assistant, essentially. He's a gopher for these studio guys, and he has dreams of working in the studio system behind the scenes. So you have him, then you have Margot Robbie, who is a woman who wants to be in film, but literally has no experience. She just decides one day she wants to be in movies. And then you have Brad Pitt's character.
I love her entrance.
Yeah, Brad Pitt's character, who is the seasoned actor. He's like the wealthy, very popular, like name actor of the silent era of film. And they all come together in this first sort of half hour of the movie in this insane party.
It's
It's-
so many titties, guys.
And I told this to Nathan, I'm like, listen, it's not just, I know we can all appreciate titties,
Hey, everybody likes titties.
but there's dicks and asses and
Mhm.
there's something for everybody in this movie in this first. But there's an elephant.
There's a hot ass Asian chick singing about her pussy.
There is.
Okay.
But outside of that, let's not get hung on that because it really is. It you could tell Damien Chazelle wanted to do a love letter to movies in every sense of the word. Because once we get past that opening 20 minutes, 30 minutes, it feels like 30 minutes. I don't think it is. But it feels
Opening
like-
party's around about 30 minutes. Yeah.
Yeah, and that's why it's number 10 on my list because Zach and I had this argument. It's 3 hours and 6 minutes. It should be 2 hours and 45 minutes.
I mean, you're not wrong.
It's 20 minutes too long easily. But it speak, and you guys having at least, like Nico and Tina, you guys having at least done a 48-hour film with us, it will feel like when they get into the making of these movies, it'll feel like it's speaking to you.
Man,
Okay.
we're going to talk about this a little bit later.
It just feels like it's talking to you. Like,
There was a couple moments where I could feel it.
I texted you after. I'm like, boy, you're going to be giddy at some moments in the middle of this movie. And and it's too, like, it's this sort of whiplash, sort of Damien Chazelle type of editing, and it's beautiful. But then there's a couple of times where I thought the film messed up.
Happened.
I thought the movie was messing up. I actually almost got up because I thought it was messed up, and I think it was a bad choice. I could do 2 hours of discussion on this movie because it just has so much to say, and it's part of a trend this year, not necessarily in my list, but a trend in a weird way with this and 2 or 3 other films that are just like love letters to cinema. And I loved it. But everything moving forward, I think, is a little better executed. But you got, like, I tried to get you guys to see it, and you're like, 3 hours.
55% Rotten Tomatoes is a little shocking.
It's so damn good, though. It's so good. I actually, like, I kind of like shed a little tear during one part of this movie, and it's a tear of like straight up joy. It's not because of some, massive heartbreaking ending or something. It's just because it made me feel so good as someone who likes to make movies on some level. So it's like I said, it's personal. It's personal. All right.
Who knows? We might talk about that one a little later.
We might discuss it again. All right. So we're back around.
Yeah. So number 9 on my list is by Netflix. This one is purely because of how much fun I had watching it. It's called Do Revenge, starring Camila Mendes, Maya Hawke, Austin Abrams.
So good.
Directed by Jennifer Caton Robinson. It's your general high school kind of story. It starts off with this girl who's on this like very esteemed private school campus entirely on a scholarship, but she's created this persona where she's the queen bee, and she gets taken down because her boyfriend decides to post revenge porn. So she teams up with this new girl that she met at like tennis club or something, and who's played by Maya Hawke, and they just ragtag team up. Maya Hawke tells her how, I'm going to the same school. I just transferred in, and there's one person here who I already have a history with. She sold me out when we were little and basically destroyed my reputation. And so they basically make an agreement to enact revenge on each other's enemies. There's a twist in the movie that is very predictable if you're used to this kind of thing, but it's a fun movie, and it speaks to a lot of like social commentary on like revenge porn, social media.
See, I didn't predict the twist, and I love these type of movies. I didn't predict the twist at all, and I was like, oh.
Like watching it, I told Nico, I was like, I have a feeling I know where this is going, but I'm interested to see if I'm right.
Yeah, I was like, wait, that's the girl from Stranger Things, right?
Yeah.
And I just looked her up. Yeah.
Yeah. Which
I heard really good things.
Yeah, she shines in this movie. I love this movie. I love her. Like, she's becoming one of my favorite actresses.
And Camila,
I've heard this is a good movie.
Riverdale, she was great in it too.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Okay. Cool. Yeah, I've heard good things. It was
Sarah Michelle Gellar's in it
space.
too.
Yeah, Sarah Michelle Gellar's in it. She plays the principal, the dean, the headmistress, whatever.
That's why I heard about it. That's what it is.
She kills vampires.
Yeah. She slays in this movie.
God, that's like a gay joke too. You just did so many double entendres.
Wait, let me bring the main camera up. Cheers to that.
Damn, that was a good one.
That's good audio.
You know what? That's a good movie to have on your list.
That's excellent Foley work right there.
You got any more?
I do. Oh, you mean, did you drink it already? Oh, shit. Here we go.
Well, I actually feel pretty fine.
Okay, good.
Yeah.
All right. So, Nico?
My number 9 is the only theatrically released Marvel movie on my list. Doctor Strange in the Multiverse of Madness, directed by Sam Raimi, starring Benedict Cumberbatch, all that. Marvel has not had a great stretch over the last couple of years, but this one at least has the hints of more originality of that like Sam Raimi nature, and when it really shines through, I really dig it. There's definitely a lot where it's like, all right, Sam, we need you to do some of the paint by numbers in here and here to get like plot threads along, and which is the unfortunate nature of Marvel movies in the current era that we're in. And I'll be curious to see how any of that changes now that the Iger reign is back. But like the bits about using Scarlet Witch and Elizabeth Olsen in that role is particularly thrilling. When she's invading the school, the magic school, and then when they go into the alternate reality and she just demolishes their Illuminati team. And I really like her performance in the movie. Even if it flies in the face of WandaVision, taking it on its own, I think her performance in the movie is really good, and that's why I enjoy it.
I think she might be. It's weird because I think she might be my favorite villain in the MCU in a movie that's not even in my top 10 favorite movies of the MCU. It's weird.
I think that's
so good.
She does so well with her characterizations, and I also like Doctor Strange. I was surprised it didn't end up on my list, honestly. And I'm sitting here thinking about it. I was like, I really enjoyed Multiverse of Madness, but I think I really enjoyed it because of her more than anything else. Like, her facials were great. The nods to horror were great in it. Yeah, but Marvel, I think we've just been so oversaturated with Marvel that it's like, oh, okay, just another Marvel movie.
Well, I think it's not even the oversaturation necessarily. It's just that the movies have not been that good. I do agree with you on this, though, Nico. I think the Sam Raimi, I'm just making sure it wasn't one of you guys low-key texting me. The Sam Raimi portions of this movie equal out to some really fun sequences. I think specifically about the piano sequence.
Yeah.
That's in the movie. And as much as it's not as scary as I wish they had said it was going to be, I wish it would have been scarier because it was supposed to be the first Marvel horror movie. I mean, there is a sequence about, bringing, dead people back to life to kill, or to fight. And
it's got Deadites in the movie.
Yeah, it does. So, for a PG Marvel movie, I guess they did pretty good on that point. But I agree with you. The failings of the movie are simply the paint by numbers formula that kind of interrupts the movie in several places. But she's such a good villain. She's such a good villain in that movie. So cool. All right, so I guess we're moving to Nathan for his number 9.
Number 9 is a movie called Sissy, and it is like a horror comedy. Well, more horror satire. There's some really good gory elements to the movie, but it's basically about a social media influencer runs into a long lost childhood best friend and ends up getting invited on this bachelor party weekend. But her childhood bully is there, and there's a lot of twists and turns and psychological events that happen. And it's just really fun and comical. I don't know. I've been finding so much humor in horror movies lately. I don't know.
Is there anybody in there we would know?
Actually, you would recognize the actresses. They're British actors.
Okay.
It is like Hannah Barlow, Aisha D. I mean, you would recognize their faces. You've seen them in the other things.
I'm looking at the IMDb now because the names I don't recognize.
You would recognize the faces of the actors in it.
So I'll be honest. I heard that this was pretty good, but this is it doesn't make my list because it's not something that was in theater. But outside of that, I didn't watch it because anytime the plot synopsis starts with a social media influencer, I'm out. I'm done with that. I'm just done with it. I saw bodies in the theater, and I'm like, "Fuck you, fuck everybody, fuck this whole thing. I'm not doing it."
Tell me how you really.
That's
You
how I feel.
really, Steven, you really should check this out because you're missing out on a.
I heard it was good.
It
I heard
is
it was
good.
fun. It's Netflix, right?
Amazon Prime.
Amazon Prime. Yeah, literally, that's just and I'll be fully honest, it's my bias. I'm just so over the social media influencer does this thing. Like, there's a lot of movies that came out this year that had that. Bodies is the biggest one. But there was this movie, Sissy. There was a Dash Cam that came out, and 2 or 3 others that I'm
Fresh.
like,
There's a
I
movie
heard
called
Dash Cam's
Fresh.
bad.
Fresh. Yeah, it's bad.
But I'll tell you this: my number 9 and 10 are the only movies that did not go to theaters.
Whoa.
Oh, well.
Whoa. All right. Cool. So we're moving to Zach now.
All right. So for my number 9, it was a good year for horror.
Yeah, it was a good
Okay.
year. Good year for horror. Yeah.
And let me tell you about a little theatrical experience I had that was fucking amazing.
Yeah.
About a little film, and during you already know. You
I
just
know.
already know.
I typed it in already.
So the guy turns to me in the middle of not in the middle, but right before the movie. He goes, "Do you know anything about this movie?" And I turned to him and go, "Nope." You know, like, me neither. And for the next hour and 39 minutes,
Can I say the name of it?
it was incredible. It's a little film called Barbarian.
Okay.
We'll talk about this later.
Yeah, we'll
too.
talk
Yeah,
about
that we
this
can talk
later.
about later.
Oh man.
And then if it's on that many lists,
Yeah, we can just skip.
I'll give you a hot take though. You want a hot take about this?
It's not in
movie?
your top 10.
It's not on my fucking list. No, it is not in my top 10.
That third act really stumbles.
No, it's not even because of that. It's just because everything on my top 10 is better. That's the only reason. And I love Barbarian, but we'll talk about it more when it comes.
Oh,
around.
Release
we
it
love that.
damn 4K, Disney.
Yeah, give us that 4K. Stop screwing around.
It's on streaming.
It
The 4K
is.
is on streaming.
It is.
What the fuck? Anyway, we'll talk about that a little later. That's my
Yep.
number 9.
All right. So my number 9 is gonna really set somebody off, but fuck you, I don't care. My number 9 is a little movie by a little independent filmmaker named Steven Spielberg, and it's called The Fabelmans. It is a movie that is loosely in a fantasy way based on Steven Spielberg's life as a child, learning about film, wanting to make movies, and his whole sort of the first, probably first quarter of his actual life.
Would you say a first
No, it's complete to me.
like a first act of someone's life?
This character lives beyond this, so yeah, it has to stop at some point.
What? A 2.5 hour first act film?
I'm gonna disagree with you 100%. Zach is just mad at The Fabelmans right now because it swept up the good awards in the Golden Globes last night. Because you know why? Because it's fucking good. That's why. So let me just pull it up.
When this movie hits, it fucking hits.
And here's the thing, and I am going to 100% own this, is being someone who at least considers himself an artist. This hits for me because there are 2 different ways of approaching this story, and this kind of goes at it both ways. It talks about it from the audience perspective of going to movies, because that scene of the mom and young Steven going to the movie, and you see that look on his face. I still remember being a little kid and having that look on my face. And she looks at him and says, "What is your favorite part?" That hit for me. I teared up the moment that happened in the theater. And I was so happy that they didn't use the same clip, the clip that was in the trailer. I felt the actress was a little heavy-handed with it. Michelle Williams. It's a different version. It's a different take in the movie, and it works so much better in the movie. And it is essentially, it's a couple of things. It's, I guess another part of that family dynamic that hits for me is you have him who is an artist, his mom who is more art inclined, she's a pianist, and then his father who is an engineer. He's a good father, but he doesn't relate to him at all, to his son on that level. Kind of like my childhood. My family is the same. My mom is kind of weird and artsy like me, and my dad is not. So I understand that it's hitting a little personal for me, and I just loved it. Little things, little hints of things that I thought were special was they recreated, the kids in this movie recreated some of the films that Steven Spielberg and his friends shot as kids. They recreated them scene for scene and shot them on 16 mil film, and you could see it. You could tell. I was a little worried whether I'd be able to tell or not, because in the trailers, it's got this sort of blue sheen that Steven Spielberg's movies have had the last 3 or 4.
Yeah, I don't like the look of this movie because it's the
He's
continuing
using
trend of it.
He's using the same cinematographer from Schindler's List.
Emmanuel Lubezki.
Yeah, and I don't love that color palette and stuff, but I could still see it. And just to see these kids making movies and having that passion, I don't know. It hit for me. I loved it.
Judd Hirsch has the absolute best scene in that fucking movie.
Judd Hirsch, if you don't know who that is, he comes in for about 10 minutes of the movie and
he
just
fucking owns it.
You forget there's anybody else in the movie when he's in it. There is a sequence where he's talking to young Steven Spielberg, and it's, Steven Spielberg's, his character's uncle, I guess. He's talking to him about, following his passion and doing his thing. And it just like, you want to talk about Babylon speaking to me? That scene fucking spoke
that scene
to
cut
me.
to my core.
Yeah.
I wish the rest of the movie was that damn good. That one scene is like fucking amazing.
And the rest of the movie is better than Zach says, and that's why it's going to crush it in the awards. Michelle Williams is great.
I hated her hair.
I think Paul Dano is good, but he's a little bit forgettable in a way. He's probably the weakest link in it. He plays the father. He's fine. He didn't have a
stage presence.
He doesn't, especially when he was put in a scene with Michelle Williams, because she's so damn good. If you haven't seen it, I think you should see it. It's amazing. I loved it, and that's why it's my number 9.
Seth Rogen ruined the fucking movie.
I don't think Seth Rogen was that bad. He didn't bother me. I didn't have to hear that. I didn't have to hear that weird ass freaking laugh that he always. Yeah. I didn't have. He didn't do that one time in the movie, and I was like,
he did.
I don't remember it.
Literally once.
I wasn't connected with it if he did. I didn't mind him. I thought he was better than I think it's because I thought he was better than I anticipated he was gonna be. Because Seth Rogen is such a I can't do anything but be Seth Rogen actor.
Have you seen Steve Jobs?
Yeah.
He is far and away better in that film than he is in this.
I had to see it again. All right, moving on.
All right, so number 8 for me, 20th Century / Hulu is a movie called Prey. Yes, the Predator movie. I really like this. So I guess the theme for my list accidentally was like strong female leads or badass female leads, whether they're leads or maybe supporting actresses, supporting roles. But Prey stars Amber Midthunder, which is a badass name.
It is a badass name. Holy
Dakota
shit.
Beavers and Dan DeLiegro.
Dakota Beavers sounds like a porn name.
Directed by Dan Trachtenberg, and this to me felt more like a Predator movie than any of the like last couple Predator movies.
100% agree.
Definitely compared to the last.
Yeah, and I love the fact that it takes place in like Native American pre-colonial times, so you don't have the technology, you don't have the gadgets that you would expect a new Predator movie to have. It's just full on her using her environment to be just creative in destroying this Predator, and I like this movie a lot.
It was a good take on the Predator. The only thing I didn't like, some of the effects on it were just like a little off for me.
Yeah.
I will say the bear scene with the beaver dam. But there were some that were just like some of the scenes where they're doing like the gory bits. Some of those were pretty neat. Let's not talk about the cat in the tree though.
I'm gonna just agree with. I could agree with both of you guys. I think Prey was phenomenal.
Should have gone to theaters.
It should have gone to theaters. Yeah,
I don't think it would have held up in theater.
Yeah, I am gonna go ahead and agree with Nathan on this. I felt like at the time of watching it that it was good enough to have gone to theater, but I'm like, these special effects look like shit on my projector screen here. If we put those on the theater, I'd be insulted at how bad they are. The only upside is, it had it gone to theater, they might have put more money behind the effects and cleaned them up.
Well, and a perfect example. The movie The Invitation this last year.
You mean that
Horrible
shitty movie?
effects. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, that good film
Horrible,
from
but
2015.
mostly because 2015.
There was
horrible-
another invitation. Yeah.
Oh, horrible effects, which killed it. Like killed the whole movie.
Yeah. I love Prey though. I'm glad you put it on your list. It doesn't qualify for my list, and that's the only reason it's not.
Because it wasn't in
Even-
theaters.
Yeah.
Because it wasn't in theaters. Because she was good, and she does have a badass name. And Dan Trachtenberg, he gets a movie every 10 years, but when he does, he hits. He's good.
Give
Yeah,
him some more damn money.
yeah. Give him some more money so he can do something actually good. But yeah, cool. Like Prey, honestly, when I first started my list, was in my top 20 because I thought for a while maybe my top like 11 through 20 I could let in some streaming movies, but it got bumped because there's too many. I saw too many theatrical movies. That's the only reason. It's really good.
Yeah.
All right, who we got next?
Me go.
You.
Prey. Okay, we're done.
So Prey was yours also.
I really enjoyed it. It's a great Predators movie. It's especially after the trash that was the 2019 Predator movie, whatever
2018.
It was terrible.
Whatever
Yeah.
it was. Yeah, it was bad.
terrible. It's good. I
2018.
really like Amber Midthunder as the main character. Tina made the comment about how setting into this era does away with what we would think you would use technology-wise against a Predator. But that's also the great thing about the original Predator movie is that it basically just devolves into Sylvester Stallone using guerrilla tactics, not using actual
Arnold
warfare.
Schwarzenegger.
Yeah, and
I was
I
about
will
to
say,
say,
Sylvester
what
Stallone.
parallel universe are we in?
That would
Yeah.
be- yeah. I mean, it's the Last Action Hero version.
I will say another thing.
but
Another
yeah.
thing that I appreciate is the fact that it's not a primarily English speaking script. They actually use a Native American dialect.
Yeah.
So
But I like that fighting predators with kind of like man-made simple tools and just kind of like works. The like predators themselves are still very badass, but they are also still reliant on their technological achievements and we're able to like manipulate that and work around. It is really good. Special effects are garbage. I wish it got more money and then thus went into theaters and then made that money back. We're not in that world, but I would like more of this.
So the only two things, one I will say is we did talk about how the fight scenes in that movie are directed and presented in such a better way than the last handful of Marvel movies.
Yeah.
Because they zoomed out, where you could actually see the fights happen. So that's a positive. On the negative side, I will question the physics of what she's able to do.
Yeah, the
throwing
axe.
that.
Yeah.
Some work
It's
was
a little bit.
Hey, somebody's been watching God of War.
Yeah, it's a little, but it's great. It's a great freaking movie.
It's
I
fun.
agree. I'm glad it's on your list. That's a really good one. All right, Nathan.
All right, my number 8 is a romantic comedy of the homosexual persuasion called Bros.
Let me just zoom back out. Go ahead.
Bros. I freaking loved it. Stars Luke McFarlane, Billy Eichner. If you want a glimpse of what it's like to date in the gay community, this is pretty spot on. It's basically my love story. Hopefully that will play out. Billy Eichner is this nerdy, really sophisticated museum gay enthusiast that is basically dating around, figuring out his sexuality more, and he comes across this guy, Luke McFarlane, and he's a super hot, like bro-y gym muscle god guy, and it basically follows their love story, and I loved it. It was awesome.
So I'm 25 minutes into this movie.
Yeah.
Oh, Nathan, when does the comedy start?
Immediately.
Oh, you watched 25 minutes of it?
Yeah.
I went to the theater to see it, and I again, it's a situation I'll agree with both sides. I didn't find it to be that funny, but I also did find it, having known Nathan for as long as I have, to be pretty accurate as far as what I've observed in the gay community. As far as at least through Nathan's eyes, I'm like, shit, this is like Nathan's people.
And
this is Nathan and everybody I know that's friends with him.
It's probably why it was super funny to me, because I got all the references. I understood all of it. Like,
I'm bad with comedies,
You are bad with comedies.
and
It's
I
true.
got the references too, and I'm
You-
just like,
well,
You
I
think-
mean, it's
Okay.
it's kind of hard to be bad at comedy when you have to look at the mirror every day.
Ah, damn it, Nathan beat me to it.
shit.
Damn it.
Al Borland.
Ugh.
It's his movie.
Fuck, I'm wearing fucking plaid
You-
again.
That's funny.
I
That's
guess
funny.
that makes Steven Wilson.
Fuck you. Oh, wait.
Steven is Tim Taylor.
I don't have the hair for Tim Taylor.
I think.
Yeah.
Actually,
Come
I
on,
think,
say it
I
with
think,
me.
I think in this scenario, Nathan is Wilson.
That's true. Reasonable.
Mm.
All right, Zachy boy.
All right, so my number 7.
Wait, is that
Eight.
where we're at?
8.
8.
8.
Hey,
Counting is hard
Yeah.
because I'm looking at it. I'm like, oh, that's 7, right? So I went and saw 3 films in one day. 2 of those films are on this list.
Yeah.
This was the last film I saw that day.
Mhm.
It's called The Menu.
Ah. I'm gonna
Okay,
talk about
I
so
wanted to see this
you
one.
may want to minimize your discussion.
Are we
of
going to talk about this
this
one
movie?
further?
Because
that. Yeah, we're talking
it's
about it.
probably coming up again. So you may just want to quickly synopsize what you want to say and just save the conversation for
Yeah.
podcast.
So it's about a group of highfalutin people taken to an island where a fancy restaurant is serving them food.
Highfalutin. How old are you? 80?
Highfalutin. And shenanigans ensue. Holy shit, this movie was fucking hilarious.
This movie's. You know what this movie did? Because okay, so the one thing I will say that's outside of the movie is when Triangle of Sadness came out, Zach was like, "Oh shit, you got to go see it. You got to go see it." I went out of my way to see it, and I
Fuck
saw
you.
it.
You got to count it for your 100.
I did, and I thought it was long and boring and predictable.
It was
And-
darkly funny.
And then the menu came out, and I told Zach, I said, "Hey, hi, Triangle of Sadness." The menu called and said, "Shut the fuck up,"
yeah,
because
as soon as I saw the menu, I was like, yeah.
yeah,
The menu was, and we'll talk about this again. But
yeah, we'll talk about it in a minute.
Yeah.
All right, so my number 8, I feel like
We're at
this one.
7. Wait,
Right.
no, we're,
No, I
we're
haven't
at,
done, I haven't done 8.
Math
We
is
literally went through the
We, yeah,
Shut up.
you suck. I think I'm the only one that has this on my list because I think I'm the only one who saw it, unfortunately, and that sucks balls. Is Crimes of the Future,
Damn it.
David
this one.
Cronenberg movie. So basically, this is an old script. This is a script David Cronenberg has had for years that kept getting backburnered. And what I love about it is you can tell if you know him because it feels like something he would have done in the 80s. If you don't know David Cronenberg, I'm pulling it up on IMDb right now because I want to be able to make sure I talk about the cast correctly.
got Viggo Mortensen in.
Yeah, it has Viggo Mortensen, and basically it's another riff on body horror. David Cronenberg does body horror in a way that no one else can even come close to. And what this movie does is sit in the future, and it's an era in which people can feel less and less pain. So if they want to make augmentations to their body for physical need or for cosmetic want or for art, they can do it. And Viggo Mortensen does it for art. And it shows in very graphic detail the changes he makes to his body for exhibits. And people just go and look at the shit he's done to himself. There's also a noir mystery element I'm not going to get into because I think I'm the only, like I said, I'm the only one who's seen it. But it's a beautiful movie to look at, and you need to have a strong stomach for this movie because it's gruesome as shit as far as organs and body parts and terrible shit one could do to his body. I
Oh God.
fucking loved this movie.
I'm already grinding my teeth.
Yeah, you will. And here's
the Red Band trailer made me go, shit.
here's the
Like with
funny
that.
thing about this. It has Lea Seydoux in it.
Lea
and-
Seydoux.
Yeah, you guys will know her if you see her. It also has Scott Speedman in it, and I won't hold that against it. Scott Speedman is actually reasonable in this movie. He's someone I've hated for a long time. But speaking of people that I've hated for a long time, it has Kristen Stewart in it. And this is the weird thing about Kristen Stewart is she is an actress that I have just not liked through the Twilight movies. I didn't like her. I didn't like Adventureland or her
You didn't
indie
like
movie. I thought
Panic Room,
she was a little kid, and
but she was
that's
good in that one.
she was fine. But what has happened with her though is from Spencer forward, like she was awesome in Spencer. I
Yeah.
thought she was great in that movie, and she's playing a smaller role in this movie, but she fucking steals scenes like nobody's business. She's so good, and I've got no problem admitting it. She's a very she's like a lab assistant with a lot of aspirations, and I'm just going to leave it at that. She's fucking great. You guys need to watch this movie, but watch it before dinner rather than after dinner.
Can I watch it during dinner?
If you're a twisted asshole, you could.
Perfect.
Yeah. Okay. So yeah, you should probably do that. Yeah, it's really, really, really good. It.
They didn't release this because they knew the drop of popcorn sales would drive people away.
Maybe. I think the movie actually did, considering its okay. There's some stuff on the screen happening right now. Considering its subject matter, I think it did pretty great. And there's a lot of practical effects shit in this, and it looks fantastic. So I can't recommend it enough.
I missed this one, and I've been kicking myself. It's on Hulu. I know.
You got no excuses whatsoever.
Oh,
It's
God.
fucking great.
I felt so bad missing this.
Yep. Because it would have been on your list.
Number
7.
All right.
Oh yeah, we are on number 7. Sorry, I'm looking at Tina's spreadsheet, and I know what movie is next, but it's a spreadsheet so that like the first row is movie title, so the numbers.
It's one off, is what he's saying, and it's throwing him the fuck off.
I see.
All right. Number 7 is The Black Phone by Universal Studios, directed by Scott Derrickson, starring Mason Thames, Madeline McGraw, Ethan Hawke. So I got both Hawks on there. I really like this one just because I'm a big fan of Stephen King and his two sons, Owen King and Joe Hill. This is based off the short story by Joe Hill. And some of the scenes like actually got us. Like there's one scene where one of the specters is just like arched backwards and just floating in midair, and it's really funny because it made all of us jump at different points because we watched it. All the kid actors did really well in this one.
I forgot that this was a 2022 movie. When I looked at, because when I was looking at movies, it listed as 2021 on Google.
Because it kept getting pushed.
Because it kept getting pushed. I also like it for a lot of the same reasons that Tina did. I think I really like the effect of the kids, the dead kids, the ghosts talking, but it having the phone sound effect came through really well.
It's like if Home Alone became a horror movie.
Yeah. I think it does a really good job of showcasing how this kid is learning everything he will ultimately need to learn to get out of the basement, and kind of being tutored by those who unfortunately did not survive what he's going
There's
through.
nothing that he learns that doesn't become useful.
Yeah.
So
I enjoyed this movie, but it's not rewatchable for me. Like it's not something. I think where it failed was it seemed like there was a good solid foundation of a story with the missing kid, and then you had a separate story with his sister, and it just was disconnected in a lot of parts. And now knowing what happens, I don't think I could even like it. I don't think it's going to hold up over time.
Holy shit. I should take, if I had more soju, I'd take a drink because Nathan just spoke my words.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, I 100% agree with Nathan. The only thing I would say is Ethan Hawke is really good and highly underused. Like he's in the movie a lot less than the kids. And I think he's so good in the movie. And like for me, it's a shame because because of that, it kind of ended up being like a 6 out of 10. For me, it was fine. But compared to something like Barbarian, like I kind of forget about it. But I'm glad you guys dug it, and there's nothing necessarily wrong with it. I think it's a good enough horror movie.
There is something that stands out about that movie though too: the kitchen scenes where Ethan Hawke's character is like asleep.
Yeah,
because he's scary as hell.
The tension you feel in your body in those moments
Mhm.
Awesome.
Very good.
Nico, was that your number 7 too?
No.
No. Okay.
What is your number 7?
Mine is Violent Night, my new favorite Christmas movie.
We will talk about this again.
Yeah, so I won't go too much into it, but I just really enjoyed having a ultra violent Christmas movie that still is wholesome in its appreciation of Christmas. Like there is still an odd earnestness to the movie that I like. So yeah, I'll just leave it at that because I know we'll get there later.
Oh my god, it's such a good movie. I know we'll get to it later. All right, so moving forward, I guess we're going to Zach. Are we going to
No,
Nathan?
Nate.
Nathan. Yeah.
So my number 7 is actually The Menu. But if we're going to talk about it a little bit later, we can.
It'll come up again.
Yeah. Okay. I mean, I'll just say this: there was a movie a few years ago, The Hunt, that I absolutely loved, and it kind of had that kind of vibe to it, where there was an elitism, and yeah, and we'll dive more into that.
Holy shit! Look at you. That's like I'm into it. I'm into that comparison. That's cool.
Wait, what's number 7?
For him, it was the hunt, or the
Menu.
The menu.
The Menu. Okay.
Yeah, The Menu was his number 7. So we're moving to Zach.
All right. So my number 7. Boy, there was 2 films this came out this year. 2 films this time last year I didn't even know existed.
Yep.
2 films shot simultaneously back to back.
Oh,
is
here
it?
we go. Which one are we talking about?
Ooh, that's a good question, isn't it?
Yeah, what are we talking about?
Well,
Oh my God,
Come
Zach!
on, Zach!
if one film is like the Texas Chainsaw Massacre,
Oh
Can
my
we go?
then
God.
this film, Pearl,
Oh, so we don't
is
have
like the Wizard of Oz.
We're going to be talking about this later.
We're gonna have a lot of overlap.
We're gonna
ladies and
discuss-
gentlemen.
Well,
It's almost like you gotta talk about them both, but this is the prequel to X.
hot take. Not on my list.
It moved down on mine. This was the one I was like, "Fuck!"
I'll be
move
looking-
this one down.
I'll be looking forward to talking about this later, though. We'll talk about it later when because
Yeah.
it sounds like it's going to be on more than one list,
Yeah.
which is great. I'm in support of that. All right, so my number 7, maybe because of my placement of this movie, it's a hot take, but I have a sneaky suspicion we'll be talking about this one again. But this one is my number one cinematic, like theatrical experience of the year, and it is Top Gun Maverick.
Ooh, this low.
We're going to be
It
talking
is-
about
Yeah,
this.
we got that coming
Yeah.
up.
Yeah, so we're going to talk about it again. So I'm just going to reserve my comments.
Yeah, we're
We don't-
definitely gonna talk.
We don't
about
really
this.
even need to go into deep diving on the movie, but I will say the reason it's as low on my list as it is because it is my number 1 theater experience of the year. It's really low on the list because if you start paying attention to the script, Jennifer Connelly is painfully underused, and she is a great actor. And I felt like they could have done a lot more with her, and that's why it's as low as it is.
Bitch, I was coming out of the movie going, God, the film grinds to a halt anytime. these
I
scenes
didn't
happen."
just say that. I didn't say that happened, though. That is not what I fucking said. Not even close. I said she could have been used better, used more. I didn't say it ground to a halt because it doesn't. But she's just the girlfriend, and you're taking an A-list actor and just making her the girlfriend. She could have done more. That's all I'm saying. I love her.
We'll
and
talk
plus, I
about
love
that.
Jennifer Connelly. So we'll talk about it moving forward.
Okay.
So we'll go back to Tina for number 6.
Yep. So my number 6, we've talked about it a little bit. Barbarian, released by 20th Century, starring Georgina Campbell, Bill Skarsgård, Justin Long, directed by Zach Kreger. If we're going to talk about this later, I'll just say I flippin' loved how confused I was with the transitions, and we'll just
It's my number 6 too.
It's my number 6.
That's
Yeah.
so. Nico, did you say it's your number 6?
Yep.
No, Nico.
Yeah,
But
that's
if
what
they
he said. He said it's his number 6 too.
Oh crap.
Yeah, I said
Nico,
it's
did you
my-
say? Oh, so it's all 3 of you guys number 6.
666.
Yeah.
Holy crap.
Oh my god!
All right.
It's
now
going
we can
to-
finally talk about this
Now,
bitch.
now we can talk about Barbarian. Yeah.
All right. Go ahead, you Tina. It's
your turn.
first.
This
Yeah.
movie was generally like truly fucking creepy to the point where it's like Nico and I, for the first third of the movie, we're like, this is gonna happen, this is gonna happen, this is gonna happen, and it's like, no. And then the second part of the movie, this is gonna happen, this is gonna happen, no. It wasn't until the third one that we're like, we're gonna stop trying to guess what's happening and just let it go. And boy, does it go.
There's a particular aspect of the movie I'm going to speak to Tina just for a moment. This seems oddly topical given that we've just given birth to our first child. So that's weird. But it is so good on how it's kind of misleading. One, I think there's a key casting choice done for the first act of the movie that is superb.
Yeah.
It really is. I think, if you're listening to the show and you haven't seen it, you should probably skip ahead a little bit because we got to be able to talk about it. It's 6 months old at this point, so it's fine to speak on it, and we've all seen it, so that's good.
I will say Steven had hounded me for months to see this, and I finally watched it, and I was laying in bed watching it. Whatever HBO, whatever it was on.
Yeah, it's on HBO Max.
And laying in bed, and I was like, what the hell is this? And I'm like, what is about to happen? Then you see a baby bottle with a hairy fucking
hell yeah.
nipple.
Oh yeah.
And my comfort level, I just remember laying in this bed being like, like that's how I like vagina.
I got a question. As a regular flight attendant, they often put you in hotels. Do they ever put you in Airbnbs?
No, but now I can't go in. And when I tell you I can't go into Airbnbs without checking, but after watching the movie, I was home alone. And I turned on all the lights and I went walking. I had just moved into this house. I went walking through the house, looking everywhere. I think I called Steven afterwards, like, what the hell did I just watch?
I love it.
I will say that first act, as a female, as probably like the only one who can really relate to this bit, is her trepidation throughout that whole first act is like very legitimate. Like
palpable.
As a solo traveler, as a female traveler with creepy white guy, like, yeah, you really, you're just sitting there and be like, I know she's in this tough spot, but I would do this because I'm not putting myself in that, and thinking that this person is going to be the villain or is going to be an antagonist, and just completely blindsided by the fact that no, he's not. But the female hesitation, the female trepidation aspect of that first act is, to me, something that makes it even more terrifying.
Well, not only that, the female heart too. Like you're looking at how, from I'm going to say maternal on many different aspects. There is a nurturing aspect to a feminine character.
There is
masculinity, and you see like this social commentary of the different versions of people you get and how they respond based off the version of people they are. It was awesome to me.
Yeah.
Now, see, it kind of leads into one of the reasons that it didn't make my list is because that first act, Georgina, what is her last name? She's so good. Georgina Campbell. She's so good in it. And every decision, every bit of trepidation that she has feels like it just makes sense. It feels grounded and realistic, and it's scary. And then the opportunity to go downstairs comes and she does it. And I'm like, for real? For real. This just became a horror movie because that didn't feel like it made 100% sense to me. I do like the fear she had about the door shutting and that kind of thing. That was pretty cool. But that was the first little, and it's not that it's particularly bad. It's not bad. It's just that first like question mark that popped above my head.
But I think it made sense to me based off the interaction. She let her guard down and started building a connection with the other character, which would, as her human self, I could see her leading, because I would be that way.
Women tend to be more empathetic towards and easier to bond with people in that way. And so when they bond as an easy link, they tend to be a lot more empathetic, whereas men could be like, nah, fuck that shit. A woman would step into that situation.
Well, and I would even say gay men too. Well,
Yeah.
for me,
And
I was
I'm not disagreeing with the two of you. You were completely right in it. It's the first time that I stepped outside the movie for a second and started to question.
It's the first time you sit at the screen being like, you dumb bitch.
Well, it's the first time where the movie kind of like really it admits like, all right, we do have to follow some of the tropes of the genre.
Exactly.
And I didn't even think it was really a trope. I built the connection immediately. Like I knew immediately, like, okay, she kind of got to know this person and was really like being considerate with this person. And so as her being, as who she is as a person, I could tell she would feel bad. Her conscience would get the best of her if she wouldn't have gone down. So
you got anything to say, boy?
Yeah. So
it was on your list too?
Yeah, it was on my list a little lower, probably because the third act stumbles really hard.
It does stumble a little bit,
especially when the horror of the film comes from confined spaces, and when all of a sudden it's like out in the open. To me, it felt like a deflation of tension.
Yeah, I will agree with that.
Well, and also
the reason they went on top of a water tower was because, oh no, we can't go anywhere, and now we're confined.
Yeah.
If they're in the middle of the street, it's like, who fucking cares?
Plus, there's that whole scene where it's like, I swear, it's like, had she just said, "Oh yeah,"
that was. I mean, yeah.
Are you talking about with the homeless guy?
Yeah.
I will say, the scene where she opens up that second door.
Yep.
And there's stairs going down.
Yep.
I had the biggest fucking grin on my face.
Yeah.
It was that feeling from like Parasite where you just have to lean back into your seat and go, I have no idea where the fuck this is going, boys.
And that happens 3 times in the movie.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It really
happens
does.
There. It happens the cut to the second act.
Yes.
I was like, what the fuck is happening?
You talking about when it goes to the flashback?
Yeah.
Yeah.
When Nico and I had like that first cut to the second act, Nico and I are like, the fuck? What just happened?
And then when you get introduced to Justin Long's character, I'm like, oh, please don't make me like this character because this is an unredeemable asshole.
Yeah.
And they don't.
Yeah.
And it's great.
Yeah.
Well, and I will say it was great to see him in a role like that because a lot of the movies he's in is like light, fluffy, or as the victim.
Now he gets to play the rapist.
Yeah. Well, and the great thing about it though is if you take that movie, and this was a YouTube creator, right?
No, this was Zach Kreger, who was one of the guys in Wise Kids You Know, which was a sketch comedy group
that did stuff where
IFC.
Okay, I don't know. That's what I'm asking.
Yeah, like 10 years ago.
Yeah, so if you look at this movie, it's like there's 3 very distinct acts in the movie, and all 3 of them look different.
Yeah.
The first act looks very sort of traditional to me. Then the second act, you get it starts with this sort of over the shoulder, almost Grand Theft Auto looking shot of the car.
Yeah.
And I'm like, what the fuck is happening? And then the third act, I mean, all 3 acts start with a car. And then the third act, you start with Justin Long in his convertible looking in like much more modern in its style. And
it's very
I just
much tonal. The tone shifts throughout, which is a kind of parallel to the different hierarchy personalities.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. It's very, and each act of that movie brings a different kind of tension to it.
Yeah.
So I agree with you guys. I agree with your placement. I just loved other things more, but I can't disagree with it.
I mean,
it's just
fine.
they're just so it's so fucking good. This movie, I think I got a hold of all of you at some point and said, look, fucking go see this movie.
It's because the trailers were shit and
you did not know anything to expect with the trailers.
I thought the trailers were amazing. I thought it was some of the best marketing of 2022 because you didn't know any of this.
Yeah.
Like
I said,
they had a cabin in the
guess
woods.
Anything from the trailer.
Like from the trailer, I was like, "Oh, is this gonna be like Cabin in the Woods?" Like that's what I thought it was gonna be.
I think the other neat thing about the marketing for the movie is you don't really understand what the barbarian is. Like you don't understand what the creature, right? With the
I
monster.
still don't 100% relate to the
Yeah.
name of the movie, honestly.
I
mean, I get it, kind of,
Yeah, I get
but
I get the name of the movie. Like I understand like it applying, but it's not an obvious like link. And going into the movie, you have no idea what the barbarian is. Like you it's like we've talked about. Like we don't know what this movie is going into it, and then we get what it is.
Well, when I think barbarian, I think cruelty of man. So
yeah,
I mean that's
I
kind
think
of
Conan.
Yeah,
I think Conan.
I think D&D and rolling up stats.
Reasonable. I think also Georgina Campbell was fucking great.
yeah,
she's great.
Yes.
Yeah.
I think she's a known entity to some people, but she wasn't to me. And I was like, shit, this actress is really good.
Yep.
Well,
So
I
I
think
can't wait to see what else she does.
funny that was the 666.
Yeah.
Pretty fucking
Zach,
funny.
what's your number 6?
Yeah, what is your number 6?
All right, so my number 6 is a big
Boy, don't
old-
drag me up.
It's a film that I missed in theaters, and
You
I
are
heard it was
so
coming back. And
long-winded.
Yeah,
man,
You really
we
are.
got so
you
little
fucking
time.
one sentence to fucking set up my movie, and y'all can't even let me have one fucking
All right, go.
sentence.
No.
So anyway, this movie I missed in theaters originally, but then I heard it was coming back, and by God, I had to
All
see
right,
it.
I know.
Top Gun, motherfucking Maverick, baby.
Okay.
So I think it sounds like we're talking about this one again.
Yeah.
Are we talking
One
about
more
it again?
time,
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
I just want to say, God damn, one hell of an IMAX.
I mean, it's pretty high on my
experience.
list. So
I'm really sad I didn't see it in IMAX. I'm jealous of you for that.
Ooh.
Yeah.
It
I was
came
like-
back, and I'm like, I'm going, baby.
All right.
I don't care if it's noon on a Saturday. Let's go.
Then we're going to get to that one again, it sounds like.
All right, Steven.
All right. So let me get my list here. All right. So we're at number 6, right?
Yes.
Yep.
All right. All of you know from a really bad 12 Hours of Terror that I love Ty West.
Here it comes.
My number 6 is a little movie called X.
Mhm.
oh, we're talking about that again.
Boy, we might talk about this a little later.
I was
Who
going to say,
knows?
so we're probably talking about this again. I will say, because I've already told you that Pearl is not my list. I think Pearl is wonderful, but I think X delivers more on being a horror movie, where Pearl is a horror movie that kind of doesn't deliver that horror as much.
Yeah.
And that's the only reason really that it's not on the list. But we'll get
'Cause
to
I I'd say Pearl is more of a thriller than a horror.
Agree.
yeah. And I also think Pearl doesn't live as good a life without X,
Agree.
Mhm.
where X stands alone.
And that's why
Mhm.
Pearl is lower on my list.
And that's why Pearl is not on my list. But we'll move on because we're going to come back and talk about it again.
All right.
we're
So
back
we're at
to
our
Tina.
top 5 now.
Top 5, baby. Here we go.
My
Blazing
5th
through
is
this.
honestly something I'm not expecting anyone else to have on their list. And it's something that has a lot of things in common with another movie high up on my list. This one is a horror movie called Uma, starring Sandra Oh, Odeya Rush, and Fievel Stewart, directed by Iris K. Shim, produced by Stage 6 Studios. This is a horror, like I said, a horror movie. Sandra Oh plays the mother, Odeya Rush plays the daughter. Sandra Oh has this huge farm. She actually has this phobia of electricity. They are completely off the grid kind of deal, to the point where she won't even let people drive cars onto her main property where the house is, due to traumatic experience with something in her childhood. I don't want to spoil it too much, but she had a strange relationship with her mother, and now she's having the daughter is starting to have a strange relationship with her, and her mother dies. Her uncle brings her mother's ashes to her house, and things start happening. This was wonderfully shot. Like, there's scenes where I'm just like, oh, that looks amazing. Sandra Oh, excellent in this. The daughter, Odeya Rush, is just astounding. I really want you guys to see this so I can talk more about it.
So I saw it.
Fuck
I
you.
saw it.
I really like this movie.
I didn't.
I like
Okay, all right. I didn't not like it. I did not like it. I actually liked Sandra Oh. I like to see her in something where she's not like got this scowl and crying face that she always has in the TV show that she was in. I just kind of forgot about it. That's all I can say is I saw it but I have a different relationship with PG, like light PG horror movies. I just don't like them much. It's kind of like musicals. I should probably not even have an opinion because I almost across the board don't like PG horror movies.
I still have the scenes where what is it, the beekeeper suit with the screen? Like I still have I'll still think of those scenes where like the face distortion and stuff like that. So if I
feel like Nathan should watch it. I think Nathan should watch it. I think
Nathan would like it.
I've seen it. I've seen it pop up on some streaming service. I should go check it out because I've heard of it.
I don't know.
I think it
sounds
Hulu.
like a Hulu movie.
I think it is on Hulu because I saw it. I was looking for something like scary to watch last night, and I saw. Yeah, that's where I saw it, but I didn't watch it. But I will watch it.
I think you should, and let me know what you think because it wasn't that I didn't like the movie. It just didn't stay with me at all.
Well, here's the thing: if I'm gonna take anyone's movie advice from this group, it's gonna be Tina's.
Thank you.
I'm the one.
Okay, so you're gonna do me dirty. You're gonna do me dirty like that.
I'm sorry. I'm
to
sorry.
Be fair,
I'm
to be
sorry.
fair, Nathan and I have the same criteria.
I'm sorry. I trust. She's not a
Don't apologize.
Tina's
The show is going to get a lot faster now that we don't have Steven and Zach.
Tina is not an elitist moviegoer. Like she actually can appreciate.
One bitch. I'm the one that made you watch Barbarian, motherfucker. Oh, son of a bitch! I almost stormed all the way out.
That was the best part of it.
You know what? That's worth the roasting that Uma got from YouTube just to have that line from Nathan.
Well, Zach hasn't seen it, so he can't say anything.
I don't care.
Nika, what's your number 5?
My number 5, I know we will get into later in the list, is The Glass Onion, starring Daniel Craig and Janelle Monáe.
We will indeed get into this later.
Directed by Ryan Johnson. It is the superior Agatha Christie-like murder mystery of the year. I haven't seen and now they run or what the one with Sam Rockwell, which I want to, but I had a lot of fun with Glass Onion. I thought it was a really good follow-up to Knives Out. I think it did a lot of really cool things with that kind of genre of murder mystery. I think it's really oddly timed. One, it does deal with COVID, which was intentional, but also one of the main characters, Edward Norton, basically being Elon Musk, unintentionally. I mean, he's kind of a merger of a lot of these tech celebrities. But especially with all the stuff Elon Musk has been doing this past year, it's very hard to separate those.
And
honestly,
you get your donut monologue.
But you also have. Go ahead, Steven.
If someone's going to play Elon Musk, isn't he the right pick?
Everyone's perfect for it. He's spot on what cast. I love, but a lot of the other celebrity culture aspects that it tackles, particularly with like Dave Bautista, I love it here as that kind of men's right Twitch streamer. Just is so ridiculously spot on. Especially also with like the fallout of Andrew Tate being like arrested. It's like all this stuff. Every character in here is pulled from headlines. And only some of them were intentional in a way that was planned.
Yeah.
So
the casting was really good on this one, and I
just didn't get time to see it.
The breakout star for me was Janelle Monáe.
Janelle Monáe was fantastic, and she's
all right. So
in a lot of ways.
Are we coming back to this one?
We're coming back to this one later.
Right.
Yeah.
All right. Let's.
So
all right, go on.
Mine number 5 was Pearl, and. Are we talking about this again, or is this me and Zach's?
I
think it's just you and Zach. You're good to go.
Okay, so Pearl, definitely not as good as X, but the backstory to one of the main characters and Pearl was really good. I think this was the movie where Mia Goth really shined. She wasn't sharing the screen with like Brittany Snow or Jenna Ortega, and her characterization, her acting in this, the style of it was just phenomenal. Zach, what do you want to add to it? Because I know it was on your list earlier.
Yeah, so I mean, like what you're saying, like Mia Goth is just rocking in the fucking Mordor with her performance. Like, it should be nominated for an Oscar.
I think Mia Goth is just as impactful in X, but it's in a much more subtle way that you kind of have to have seen the movie before we can talk about it.
Completely different characters, though. She's playing a different character than what she was in X.
I don't know. She played Pearl as well.
Yeah. Oh,
No.
well, spoilers. She legit, that the old woman in X is her.
Yeah. Yes.
Yeah, so she's playing the same character except younger, and I guess it's hard to not spoil that at this point.
I mean,
because
what I'm saying is
Pearl is a
herself
prequel.
Is a different character. Like,
Yeah,
her character in X is not the character she played in Pearl. She's playing the old woman from X. You see what I'm saying? She's playing.
I don't know. I think the reason Pearl works is because it's the younger version. Like
Of the
in
old
a lot
woman.
of, yeah.
Yes, but I'm saying her character in X is not the character she's playing in Pearl.
I mean, but she is playing Pearl.
I think it
in
is
X.
the same character.
No,
It's
it's the same character, but Mia Goth plays a completely different character in X.
She's a dual role in X, whereas in Pearl she only plays one.
Let me see if I understand you. She's
Is Mia
playing.
Goth the old lady?
Yes.
Yes, yes.
Oh wait, Mia Goth is the old lady in that.
Mia Goth is the
Yes.
old lady. Yes, she's playing both roles in the movie. That's why I said she's just as good.
Okay,
Yeah,
'cause you didn't know.
For me, I didn't know she was the old lady. I thought the old lady was her own thing, but I did not know. I did
That's
not
how
know.
good she is. That's
did
how
not-
good she is.
But what I'm saying, the younger girl in X that she's playing is a completely different style. Damn you!
Absolutely. Yeah, absolutely.
Totally.
I didn't even know. I did not even know she was the old lady. That's
why I said she's as good in both movies, because she disappears into that old lady role. You don't know it. She's so
the whole
fucking good.
bedroom scene. It was
Is Mia
her
Goth.
fondling herself in X.
Yes. Look at Nathan's face.
If you listen closely, viewers, you can hear Nathan's brain slowly melting.
Well, I'm glad X is higher on my list then, because now this makes it even.
Okay, so since we're on Pearl, though, the things I want to say about Pearl, it's not on my list, but I fucking love it so much, is Pearl, and I felt this too, was really looking like Wizard of Oz in its, not only its color palette, but you know how Wizard of Oz looks like it's shot on a soundstage? You can just tell it's shot on a stage. Pearl is the same way. When there's scenes where she's in a horse stable, and you could tell they just built that on the stage, and it looks that way on purpose.
But it's not. It's the same sets.
I know, it is so good. And also the thing that I learned after, because I love the color palette of Pearl so much, it's so vibrant and so poppin'.
Where's my 4K?
Which is something that you see in Wizard of Oz, but there is a whole series of rom-com movies from the 50s that were early color that looked like Pearl. And it just like blew my mind. I'm like, shit, I got to watch all these movies now because they're gorgeous. But Pearl does not hold up on its own without having seen X. And the weird thing about Pearl is it's a prequel, but I will never recommend on first viewings to watch Pearl first.
No,
you
it's a
have to
part
watch
two.
X first.
Yeah, Pearl is very much a part 2. You do not watch it first.
Yeah. It's like, okay.
I mean, I
Can
guess you could watch Pearl first, but I think there's things you're going to lose in context.
Absolutely.
Yeah, 100%.
It's part 2 of a
Can we
trilogy.
agree? Can the three of us agree, out of the movies that we've seen, though, that Pearl features the best monologue, single actor, single
Holy
shot monologue of
shit.
any movie this year?
I mean, it's like, what, 9 minutes?
It's solidly 8 or 9 minutes of Mia Goth just fucking killing it. Just killing it.
The dialogue at the table, just talking.
Yes.
Okay.
I was sitting there in the theater, just my jaws on the fucking ground, just like, oh my god.
It might be a little bit of an easy give though, because I don't think any other movie has a solid one take shot of one person giving that long of a speech this year that I've seen.
Please, I'm a star, please. Okay.
The closing credits of Pearl though is just her smiling with
It's so
closing
fucking
credits.
good, man.
But then A24 put that shot on their Instagram without the credits on it, and it's so creepy. It's so creepy.
It goes from heartwarming to sad to creepy to impressive. Like
the visuals of the whole thing, really. The tone of Pearl was just awesome. I loved it. It was like because we saw X. I think it was like, oh, what's gonna happen? What's gonna happen? What's gonna happen? Yeah.
And now we have Maxine coming in a couple of months.
Maxine,
that's set in the 80s, and it's her transition to full like porn actress, I guess. I don't know. We'll see.
I will not accept a life I don't deserve.
Exactly. This one, Barbarian, and this one were the two hardest removes from my list.
Ooh, you said you shed a tear over one of them.
I did shed a tear over one of them. Yeah.
So Zach, what's your number 5?
All right. So my number 5. Okay. I've been struggle busting.
Yeah.
About my placement from essentially 4 to 7
it's the hardest spot this year.
Fine.
Yeah.
Banshees of Inisherin.
We'll talk about this later.
We're going to talk about this one. And I can see it on your face. I see it on your face. You're like, holy shit, that's low. Yeah. Oh, look, this was a hard fucking call.
I'm holding the table right now to keep him walking out of this room right now.
This was a hard fucking decision.
This take is so hot, I'm fucking sunburned.
We will definitely be talking about this later.
Yeah, we will. Fuck yeah, we will. Mistakes were made. Nathan's list officially got better than yours. Fucking shit. You.
It was so hard.
Did anybody see the Golden Globes last night? Because Banshees took it, boy. Banshees
I was like, what?
took it.
Colin Farrell got that globe.
All right. Well, then we're gonna continue because we're coming back to this motherfucking movie. Fuck you.
I'm coming back for you, baby.
Oh, your face.
Oh, I'm so hot right now. Fucking number 5. You fucking serious, you motherfucker.
My top 3 was locked.
Fuck
what
you.
I do?
All right, come on, Steven.
My number 5. I don't know if this is on anybody else's list.
I would laugh so hard if it's Banshees.
It is not. It is not. Oh God, that would have been the greatest troll ever if it was. It is Tar.
Okay.
I wanted to see this.
I wanted to. Didn't miss.
And no one else has this on their list, right?
No, I didn't make it.
Okay. Well, then y'all all
cat.
Oh shit! I fucking typed cat. Then y'all all suck balls. Okay.
It was 2 hours and 40 minutes, and it was released in a time where every movie was fucking 3 hours, and I was like, ugh.
But if it's a good movie, it's a good movie. So it's directed by Todd Field. I didn't. Oh, he also wrote it too, and it's so well done that I thought this was a real person. I thought she was a real person. Like I thought this was a fucking biopic.
Yeah, I thought all that up like for most of the marketing because it feels like it's being pitched as a real person.
And it was, again, another situation of brilliant marketing because they didn't say it was a real person, but they also didn't give you any indication that it wasn't a real person. And this is a character. She's like the first female conductor to reach the level that she has reached. And I don't know anything about that world. So fuck it. All right, well, cool. I'll see something about this. And what makes it even more believable is you don't have that in this movie, that typical sort of bell-shaped character arc where she starts at the bottom, works her way up, is awesome, and then fucks it up at the end. This thing is an ongoing wave of up and down and up and down. I haven't seen a character arc that's this unique in a long time. I didn't know where it was going. I loved her as a person in 1 minute and fucking hated her the next minute. She felt like a person that you would know. Like she's so imperfect. She's so easy to like and appreciate and understand where she's coming from. And then in the next sequence, she's a bitch and you fucking hate her. Kate Blanchett will probably win. I think best actress for this movie, and if she does, she deserves it. As much as I hate to say that because there's somebody else I really want to win it.
Yeah, someone named Michelle Yeoh.
Yeah, I just don't think she's going to win it. I don't think she'll take it from Kate Blanchett because she's so good in this movie. I was so emotionally invested in this movie for the entire almost 3 hours of runtime.
It's like 2 hours and
I
39
think
minutes.
everybody here. Well, I think everybody maybe outside of Nathan. Nathan might get bored, but I think everybody else will be with it. Honestly, I was just looking really quick at the other cast to see if there was a name that popped out, and not really.
Like it is definitely like Kate Blanchett driven piece.
Yeah, and there's some really interesting commentary because of the type of person she is. It has some really interesting things to say about modern. I hate to use this term because I really fucking hate this term, but it's the easiest way to describe it. Is like modern social media cancel culture. It has a lot to say about it and how sometimes you're right, sometimes you're not. Sometimes people manipulate things to be more right. And there's a lot of things in this movie, in the social commentary side of it, that are just interesting conversation pieces. I loved it. It's where it is. I could argue for it to be higher. It's just that good. I recommend it.
I skipped out on this one only because
You fucking made a mistake.
When every film that comes out is like 2.5, 3 hours, I'm gonna be burned.
Boy, I'm a movie guy. I don't let the length stop me.
I know, but damn, you had previews in. It's like 3 fucking hours, and I was like,
hey,
I can't right now. I'll catch up with this one.
I saw so many 3 hour long movies this year. It's whatever.
Like
I
this
sat through.
podcast.
I sat through Avatar. Yeah. So moving forward,
We're about to get this show there.
Yeah. So number 4 for me is Glass Onion.
There we go.
I don't think we're going to talk about it again unless Nathan has it on his list higher
It's not
up.
on my list.
So
it's not on mine either.
Nope.
directed by Ryan Johnson. It's Daniel Craig, Janelle Monáe, Edward Norton, Kate Hudson, Catherine Hahn. Just list. I am so in love with Benoit Blanc, and I cannot wait for more of him.
Every time I hear his name, I can only think of Benoit Balls. I'm just saying.
This movie had me and Nico in stitches at some points, and Nathan's completely right. Janelle Monáe steals this entire movie at some points, and it's like their relationship, their interactions. It's at one point when her big twist is revealed, you're like, oh, there's no way this is actually going to happen to her. So that little safety net was built in. Sometimes I like that, sometimes not. But this was just a feel-good, funny, like, I had so much fun with this movie. So I'm going to watch it again and again. Like, I can tell you that much.
Yeah.
I generally
It was a
liked
fun-
Knives Out,
Yeah.
so I intended to watch this movie. I just didn't get to it. Is all.
It was a fun movie. It was just super predictable as far as the outcome. And also the weakest link in this movie is Edward Norton.
all right.
I kind of don't agree with that,
Yeah.
but
Mm.
we'll just
All
leave
right.
it there.
I like Edward Norton in that role, especially.
Yeah.
But no, I liked it. So I guess mine next.
Yep.
So my number 4 is Top Gun.
Oh shit. Okay.
Are we going to go higher on that, or is it?
Are we going higher on this movie? Are we talking about it later? Anybody?
What is
I've
it?
already said-
Top
All
Gun
right.
Maverick.
We are going higher.
All right.
All right.
Wait, but yeah, that's
Can you
it.
take me higher?
All right, cool. Well, then we'll revisit. So, Nathan, what is your number 4?
My number 4 is Bones and All.
This one got kicked.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No,
Go
for
ahead.
me, this was such a good movie. Timothy Chalamet, Taylor Russell. Taylor Russell is the actress who was in the Escape Room movies. She's done some other things too, but from the previews, you know it's almost on the lines of cannibalism. But it's basically a romance horror love story type film. where basically this young girl is trying to navigate how she eats people, and she encounters people along the way that are just like her. And yeah, I really enjoyed it. I walked out of that theater. Steven and I, we went and saw it together, and I walked out of that theater and I was like, wow, I really liked that movie. And the more I sit and think about it, the more it holds up for me. That's why it's on my top 10.
So I agree with you. Nathan and I saw it together. I really liked it. It just like it's a hard year. Any other year, it probably would have been in my top 10 because there's some beautiful shots in it. I love the final shot of the movie. And also, weirdly, this has been a weird year for me and Mark Rylance because I saw him in this, and to me, he's my favorite part of the movie of Bones and All. He's scary as hell.
Yeah, I don't want to be in the same fucking state
He's just
as this guy.
scary. And then I saw him in the outfit, and he's like a badass.
He should get nominated for an Oscar.
He's so good.
Yeah.
He's so good. I don't fault you for this movie. I really, really liked it. It just,
and you know me, I usually don't go for the artistic type stylistic movies, but this had me. And it captures you from the beginning, from her little sneak out girls' night, and you're like, oh my god.
Yeah, that opening sequence is like, holy shit.
The violence in this movie is just.
And it's not just heterosexual, it's homosexual too.
Yeah, it's everything. Tina, I particularly think you're gonna like this movie when you see it.
Yeah.
I just have this, it's got that bookish vibe. It feels like, I don't know if it's based on a book, but doesn't it feel like a movie that came from a book?
Yeah,
was it?
Yeah.
Okay, so it's got that feel. I didn't know it came from a book, but it just has that sort of vibe to it.
There was good pacing to it too. I didn't find it to have a lull or anything like that. It was like,
no, it clipped right along.
What's going? It's like, what's gonna happen next? Where are we going with this? So
yeah, it's really good, and it's shot well too for the most part.
Oh, yeah.
And there are some things that were just super subtle, like that you knew what had happened without even seeing what happened.
Yeah.
Yeah,
good visual storytelling.
I agree, and well acted too by everybody. It's a good movie.
It just
got edged out.
There was a little film, transitioning to my number 4.
Yeah,
there's a little film that kicked it.
Yeah,
you're gonna fucking hate me for this, and it might be true that Banshees. He just grabbed the table like he's like, oh, I got me a case of the vapors. So my number 4 is Babylon.
Fuck you! Fuck you! Fuck you!
Like,
fuck you!
But here,
this is passion play. This is not being a good movie. This is passion play.
But like,
one of them is a 10 out of 10 script, and the other one is a 6 out of 10.
No,
script.
the only reason he's ranked it this high is because of the Asian pussy song.
No, that's right. That's right.
That is at least 4 points added to the film for that scene alone.
Oh my god!
But
fuck you.
The first hour and a half of this movie is like it's like One Cut of the Dead, to where it's like it's my DNA on screen. It's I can fucking.
But then you got to watch another hour.
I know. Then I get to watch the best scene from Boogie Nights in it, too.
And then you got to watch another 45 minutes of it.
And I was enthralled the entire time. Like, you're like 45 minutes could be cut from this movie, and I'm like,
you know it. You know it. You know it.
And it might be that this is the most recent film I've seen, and I was walking out on air, just like, holy shit, that was amazing.
Fuck you.
But it's my number 4. Now, Banshees might go up over time, but right now, I was struggling, man.
It's
struggling.
This movie's really good, but it's like the middle act of this movie, the middle hour, spoke to me. I felt like it sat me down and said, let me talk to you. But the hour before, it's like like I told you, it's like the opening of Deer Hunter when that party keeps fucking going.
It was like 3 lines of cocaine,
it's
baby.
Like you don't have to. Woo! Yeah. Zach put this above his number 5 in his top 5 for the titties. That's what he did.
Yep, that's
there's a
very
lot of
predictable.
Titties, there's a lot of ass. There's a lot of fucking. There's a lot of coke.
All right, Steven.
Fine. All right.
I really fucking love this.
It's good.
We are all about at 2 hours now. Let's keep it moving.
We usually go 3. Shut up, bitch.
All right. So wait. All right. So all right. So we may be talking about this one again. You guys just tell me if we are. And my number 4 is The Menu.
No,
Nope.
haven't seen it.
I already talked my
Yeah,
piece, so
I talked a
let's
little
go.
bit. Yeah.
Okay, cool. So we're at it. Awesome. So the menu, the menu hit pretty hard for me because I'm a sucker for, and Tina and I talk about this stuff, for like food TV. I'm just a
Yes.
sucker for it. I love the Great British Bake Off. This movie riffs and puts its foot up the asshole of Chef's Table.
Yep.
If you've seen Chef's Table,
Yeah.
and it does it so hard that the food sequences in this movie,
God, they're so good.
they are shot by the team that shoots Chef's Table.
Really?
They brought the fucking Chef's Table people in to shoot the food
So-
sequences of this movie.
I haven't seen this movie, but I've seen one scene, and it's the cheeseburger scene. And man, did I crave a burger!
Wait, no. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. Don't speak on it. So the thing that I love about this movie is one of the weird subtext of things that's happening right now is this sort of eat the rich kind of thing. And Triangle of Sadness was straight up just eat the rich. This one, though, is a little bit of eat the rich, but it's more of once you get to a certain level of wealth or entitlement, you take in art without respecting art.
Yep.
There's a sequence in there where they're all at this really high-end dinner, and this is a very small, tiny thing. I promise it doesn't matter in the scheme of things, but it just gives you an idea of what the commentary is, where the chef, who is world-renowned and having this amazing, super expensive dinner, asks another one of the guests who's been to his events like a dozen times, can you tell me anything that I've had on the menu previously? And he fucking couldn't. He couldn't speak it. And that to me says everything you need to know about what the commentary of this is. It's like you've got a chef who was an artist that's been pushed to the edge by people that are taking in his art like it's fast food.
But it's not just him; it's all the people that work underneath him.
Yeah,
are
it's
so
his entire
committed-
team.
Are so committed based off what they've been through as well. And there's a level of what the outcome where you just see every character's acceptance of their fate.
So there's two standout performances in this movie. One is Ralph Fiennes.
Man,
Ralph
he does a
Fiennes,
good
he's
fucking
so
performance.
damn good. He's scary as hell in a weird way that's not like traditional like horror. This is not a horror movie, but he's scary. And you know what? Scary is not the word. You know what he is? He's intimidating.
Yeah.
He is like Gordon Ramsay almost.
Yeah, he is, but he's much more chill. Like
He's
Cold.
a
sort of
calm,
He's
cold-hearted.
intense.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Exactly. Now, also though, and I don't think it's been talked about enough, this is Anya Taylor-Joy's movie.
Yep.
She owns in this movie, and it's hard for me to say. I know we sort of could talk about spoilers because this stuff has been out for a while, but the menu just came out on HBO Max, and I don't want to take it from Tina, from you and Nico. You guys need to watch this movie. This movie was higher on my list.
Yeah, it was too.
It's been a battle. Other high points is John Leguizamo is in this movie playing his riff on Steven Seagal.
Yeah, you could feel that.
He is totally being Steven Seagal in this movie.
I really liked Hong Chau's performance. Like, it was a really like snarky.
Yeah, Elsa. And I know her name is Elsa, but I kept thinking Ilsa because I love Grindhouse movies. I was like, did she say Ilsa? Are we going that far into this self-referential thing? But this movie, so I can say it now because we've had a couple of movies that focus on it, falls into the thematic run of movies in my list that are about artists and art. And you know, we had The Fabelmans, we had Babylon, and now we had this one. And it's different types of art and what it means to people. And I just love it so much. It hits home for me.
Man, I wonder where Banshees is.
I wonder where fucking
Yeah, I bet I know.
Who knows?
but I love this movie. It's snarky. The social commentary is biting and brilliant, and it's beautiful. This movie is fucking beautiful. I was hungry afterwards.
Yeah, you're going to want a certain food after the movie, and God help you if you can't get it.
Yeah, God help you.
Because I could, and it really hurt.
All right.
Like 11:30, and it's like nothing is going to be open. Damn it!
So
There's
Tina,
a few things.
you two need to watch this movie like immediately.
I
Nathan-
watched
It's on
it.
HBO Max.
What's that?
It's on HBO Max.
It's on HBO Max now.
Yeah.
All right. So moving
Oh,
forward.
I loved it.
Oh,
All
Nathan,
right.
Nathan, did you have it on your list or no?
Yeah.
Yeah, it was a number
Yeah.
7.
Oh, you didn't? Did you speak on it at all? Because I didn't hear you speak anything on it.
I said I was going to say you touched on everything. The only thing, and you're going to appreciate this, when I think of Ada describing how she makes grilled cheese or her perfect grilled cheese, this is
Yeah.
when I think of The Menu.
Okay, so that's 2 movies related to Ada's grilled cheese. It's this one, and that's why you compared it to the other movie earlier.
Yeah.
Damn it!
Yeah,
The Hunt, because
Hunt.
the grilled cheese matters in the Hunt, boy.
Yeah, it
fucking
does.
matters. That's fucking funny. That's funny. All right, moving on.
All right, so we're at top 3, and like I said, one of the things that I consider when making this list is rewatchability, and this is a movie that I will rewatch every year for the holidays, including with Evie, Violent Night, starring David Harbour, John Leguizamo, and Beverly D'Angelo.
I like how John Leguizamo is in 2 movies.
He's in everything.
Yeah.
He's in everything. Yeah, he's having a moment.
Like this, first off, it has puns. I love puns. It has badass Viking Santa. I love badass Viking Santa. It has people screwing over the rich, even though they are the rich.
You're right. It's another eat the rich thing.
Yeah.
I love this movie.
Yeah.
There
Is
were
it-
just
is it-
times- there were
is
just
this as high
times
as it
where you
gets?
and I were just like, oh,
It-
probably.
it's already been
Yeah.
on mine, so yeah.
Yeah.
All right, cool.
I love this movie so much.
I'm with you. I loved this, and I agree. It's gonna go right there in a double feature with something like Krampus for the holiday.
Yeah.
And
That sounds nice.
yeah, and Act 1 and Act 3. I think I said this when I talked to you, Zach, when I saw it. Act 1 and Act 3 are bangers. Act 2 is a little fat. Like
Yeah.
it's probably a little longer than it should be.
Pretty
And
much
I think they go ahead.
Pretty much
Go ahead.
the only thing I really wanted from this movie that wasn't delivered is a scene with Mrs. Claus, even as just like a
I felt like it was built up.
post-credit
Yeah,
credit
it
scene.
felt like it was built up like something we were going to see, and they
Yeah.
kind of tried to do something with it at the end with the sleigh, but I don't think it delivers the build up.
That was the only thing I really needed from this movie that it didn't fully deliver. Austin Woolcut in the chat said,
Yeah,
"Would
I
you
see
want
that
to
too.
see a Violent Night too?" I don't know.
Yeah, we talked about this.
Yeah, we were-
I think was it last week or
Yeah.
was it off show? That it's like I worry that a second one would kill the magic, or not necessarily kill it, but it wouldn't have the same magic
Yeah.
that this movie had. But because I do like the world, like I would love to know the story about how this Viking became Santa. But I
Yeah.
also was like, no explanation I think is going to work as well as whatever I built up in
It's
my head.
Santa. What explanation do you really need?
I agree with that. I'm kind of afraid that they'll ruin it by doing more of them. They should just leave it as it is.
Unless they do Santa versus Krampus.
Okay.
I don't know.
like it.
Even
Yeah.
then, even then.
I will say that I think John Leguizamo's character, I think they missed some opportunities to make him a little funnier. I mean, they could have done like more like Scrooge type puns with him.
Oh yeah, could they have put more puns in the movie?
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah, with him. But I with you guys, I loved it. I'm glad it's on your list because it's really good. It's a fun movie.
It was
100%.
a movie made specifically for me. It
It
feels
was.
like
So that one was speaking to you, the Santa Claus that fucking kills people. I love
with
it.
puns.
It makes
That-
sense.
That tracks.
Yeah.
It does track. Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, moving on.
I'm positive this isn't on anyone else's list, but I know a lot of you have seen it. I am flabbergasted that a DC movie has outranked all the Marvel movies this year. The Batman.
Oh God, no.
I love this movie. I think
I
back
was waiting
to
for it. I
I
was
think
waiting.
I think back to how much I was not loving this movie when we were in trailer season before the movie came out. I was not really looking forward to a grim Batman, but we get more of a noir Batman than we really expected when the opening scene happens, and you get the narration, the voiceover, and I'm just locked in at that point because like, oh, this is Batman. Like you have a straight up comic book story of comic book narration. You have this great, very thrilling opening scene of bad guys being afraid of the dark because Batman is there. It was so impressive. It does stumble at the end. I would I could easily swap around a lot of the middle of the list, but everything up until the end of the movie, I think, is solid and quite enjoyable. I love the cast. I think Cullen Pattinson does a surprisingly good Batman. I think they do need to refine his Bruce Wayne public work, which I think they'll probably do in the sequel if that happens, because the hierarchy of power in the DC universe has changed, and I don't know what's going to happen with the franchise going forward.
I will say, on top of that, this is one of the first Batmans in a very long time where he's actually a fucking detective, and it shows it.
I think that's
You're tweaking me now. Now you're tweaking me. I will not let up or ever forgive this movie for fucking leaving evidence at a crime scene after they've left for Batman to fucking find hours later overnight. Oh God, I'm like,
but Steven,
you were trying. Oh,
it's a thumb drive.
Oh my God! On the murder weapon, damn you!
If the first 25 minutes, like
first 30 minutes, were perfect.
If the rest of the film was as good as the first 25 minutes, it would be on my list.
Yep, same. And it didn't have that last act, which has nothing to do with the story. It just needed that. They needed a big set piece.
They needed a Joker scene.
Well, they needed an action.
Just turn the Riddler into the Joker.
Yeah. No, it's not even the Joker scene that bothers me. It's the entire stadium scene that bothers me.
I'm saying they turned the Riddler into the Joker.
Oh, yeah.
That whole plan would be is very much something Joker would pull off.
I can see Riddler doing it too, but no, that's also another Eat the Rich movie.
It is 100%.
Consider it a reoccurring gag.
There's a lot of good in the movie. I agree with you. He's a good Batman. This is a situation we've had with Spider-Man before too, by the way. That Tobey Maguire was probably a better Peter Parker than he was a Spider-Man. Where we have this, where Robert Pattinson is a better Batman than he is a Bruce Wayne.
The issue I have, I would say the issue, it's not Robert Pattinson's fault. It's the script didn't put any real good Bruce Wayne bits in the movie.
They give him that one hospital bit, but I thought he was going to start sparkling in that scene, glittering.
Because as we saw in Tenet, he could be a good Bruce Wayne. Like his Tenet role is like that. That's what made me confident in him in this movie, was him in Tenet. I'm like, oh,
I agree.
That guy's going to be good in Batman, and he was. It's just they underwrote a part of the character that performance requires.
Yeah. When that movie came out, we all saw it. I think for me, it was a 6.5 out of 10, and it's kind of still hovering around there, maybe slightly lower with the age.
Don't eat edibles and watch the Batman.
Oh, I would never do that.
Because this 3-hour film is going to feel like 9 hours.
Yeah. All right, moving on.
Don't do it.
Nathan.
My number 3 is Bullet Train.
Wait, let me go full screen so I can just step out of this.
I loved Bullet.
Whoa, hold on. Steven, is that more or less objectionable than Zach's placement of Banshees?
Man, he grabbed the table like he was fighting for his motherfucking life.
Zach's decision makes me more angry. This is not surprising from Nathan. This is almost black.
The table like he had a case of the papers and was fighting for his life.
First off, great casting. There was some wonderful actors in it. There were some cameos in it that I was not even expecting. Channing Tatum. It was just overall humorous and funny, and I loved it. Like 5 assassins on one train, trying to kind of go after the same goal. It was very entertaining for me.
To
me, it is so much better than Everything Everywhere All at Once.
Oh, words around here, boy.
Kick.
So much better. I'm sorry.
Fighting words. You're gonna have a.
I know it's coming up on y'all's list, and that's when I'm gonna remove myself to go take a shit.
The fact that none of us have mentioned it on our list yet is telling where it is on our list.
I like Tangerine and Orange. I like those two. We talked about this. I like those two characters. I don't know. The last 30 minutes of it looks like a cartoon to me. I don't know. I like Brad Pitt in comedy action. I just didn't dig on this movie like at all. It just did not work for me.
Did you
Absolutely
like
loved
Brad
it.
Pitt and Deadpool too?
I did.
I like Brad Pitt and Mr. and Mrs. Smith. Let's go there. How about that? I liked him there. Moving on.
Back.
Oh yeah, shit.
Three.
Shit.
Where we at? Number 3?
Three.
All right, number 3. I have X.
All
We're gonna
right.
talk about that later.
Okay,
All right.
well,
So,
you know,
all right. Then I
who
guess.
knows? Maybe we'll talk about that a little later.
All right. So, all right. So me,
Yep.
hot take time, baby.
Oh, I'm ready for it.
My number 3. Everything Everywhere All at Once is my number 3. So my
Jack,
number
I gotta go
3.
use the restroom.
Well, I'm not talking about it because I know we're going to talk about it
we're
again.
not talking about it yet.
But I will
Let me hold it.
stand
Let me-
by 100% the fact that Everything Everywhere All at Once. Let me just say this because we're going to be, jizzing all over it later on.
Say jerking it off.
So
but,
let me just say why it's at number 3. And I said this during our dinner the other night because Nathan, you'll be happy to know that somebody else actually the other day when we had food didn't also like the movie. And my biggest complaint about Everything Everywhere All at Once is there's no breathing room in this movie. You don't get a minute to take a breath. And if you get distracted for a second, you won't know what's going on.
Really?
There's just so much packed in this movie that you got to be on it the whole runtime. And to me, I love it. I love the movie, but I'll talk about more
Who
about
didn't
it.
like it?
Our friend Catherine didn't like it.
with a K.
Catherine with a K.
Cat
Yeah, she
Ty.
didn't like
Thank you, Cat
Yep.
Ty.
Oh, I remember this conversation.
Yeah, we were talking about it over dim sum the other day.
Yeah.
All right, so we'll go ahead and move on because I know this movie's coming up again.
Number
So
twos.
Yeah. This one's gonna be really short because I know we're gonna talk about it again later. Is Everything Everywhere All at Once?
Ha, Zach! Ha!
All right.
Ha!
Okay, so we're gonna go ahead and skip that one since we're gonna get to that one later. We're gonna go ahead and skip mine because it's also gonna come back later. Banshees of Inisherin is my number 2.
Yeah, we're gonna talk about that later.
Oh. Fuck you. All right, moving on.
I'm really upset because it was focused on us, so I couldn't see Steven's reactions.
So
God,
my
He
number
looked like he was
2.
getting sounding.
My number 2
Go.
is X.
Okay,
anyone
I
else
think
have
we're
it?
finally where we can talk about X at this point.
X to me, I remember Steven, you calling me, telling me to go see it, and I was on a layover in Seattle. And I went over to the movie theater, and I was the only freaking person in the theater, and I did not know what to expect. And it was just such a eerie. There was some really good jump elements to it that I was not expecting. Brittany Snow shocked the hell out of me. She does a wonderful musical performance of Landslide by Fleetwood Mac, and it was just like I got goosebumps from it. Mia Goth was amazing. Now that I know that she also played the old lady, made it even better. And might have bumped up a little. No, my number 1's still my number 1. But I freaking loved probably one of the best horror movies of the year.
I totally agree with everything you said. I love Ty West. We watched. It's funny. We watched House of the Devil, all of us together, and me and Nathan were the only ones that liked it. But that's also a Ty West, the same director.
No, that wasn't that at your 12-hour last year? Not last year, but 2021.
Yeah.
Yeah, I liked it. It was a good movie.
I remember a lot of people complain. Oh, it's slow. It's slow.
I said it was the slowest one, but I didn't say I hated it.
I think it was well paced. I don't recall saying I
Doesn't really work.
Oh, I thought you guys didn't. The thing that I love about that movie is it feels like that sort of Rosemary's Baby era.
It does.
Yeah.
And the thing is, if you don't know, like going to that movie, I don't think it was until after we were talking about it later that I realized it's not actually a 70s horror movie. This is a modern movie like we were talking about earlier with like Devil's Rejects.
Mhm.
I feel like that's not an homage. I mean, it is even straight up like that kind of 60s, 70s era horror movie.
And so with that, X is the same.
Yeah.
X doesn't feel like an homage to Texas Chainsaw Massacre. It just feels like it was made at the same time because it is in that same space. It's a slasher. But the great thing about the movie too is it is one of the best examples this past year of circular storytelling, in that there are small droplets of things in the beginning of the movie that feel like they mean nothing, that by the end you're like, holy shit. And what I love about this movie, it made a lot of people, especially younger people that I follow like on social media, made them really uncomfortable. And
it should.
But it shouldn't. It shouldn't, because the thing that made so many of them feel uncomfortable is the idea that fucking old people still want to fuck. And I'm like, shit, people of any age who can still do it should still want to do it, and it should be fucking fine. It should be fine.
It's gross.
That shouldn't be uncomfortable, because that happens in the villages here in Florida all the time. It's like highest STD rates of anywhere is in the
But in an example of this circular storytelling, though, when you think about that as a thematic element in the movie, and you think about the fact that Brittany Snow chose to sing "Landslide," that moment when she's singing that, and I'm realizing that's what this movie is about, and she's singing this beautiful, and she's killing it. That was one of the moments that brought a tear to my eye in the theater. I was like, shit, this means something. This isn't just a fucking like slasher horror movie. It's all of that. It's practical effects. It's gory. It's real funny.
It was a really good ensemble cast of people too.
I was about to say Mia Goth, Jenna Ortega, Brittany Snow are all
they're
fucking hot.
all killer in it. They are so good.
Hot too.
You even got Kid Cudi in there as an actor.
Yeah.
Okay.
And
with his 12-inch long fucking dick. Hell yeah.
Kid Cudi has some funny ass moments in this movie. I didn't know him from anybody coming into this. I just have heard people talking about, Kid Cudi's in it. I'm like, I don't know who that is, but damn, he's fun in this movie. He's really funny at a bunch of times. This movie is scary, it's thoughtful, and it's simple. Also, in a world of movies we're going to talk about later that are super complex in their storytelling, this is simple and beautiful and scary, and I love it.
One of my favorite theater experiences this year was the second viewing we had of this post a screening of Pearl.
Yes.
With some lines of dialogue that are recontextualized after seeing Pearl that had an audible gasp from the audience that was delicious.
So, Nico and Tina, you guys know the basic story of X, right? You know what it's about.
Very basic. I'm trying not to learn more of it because I do eventually plan on watching it.
Okay, good. Well, I'm not going to spoil anything for you. I just wanted to know because, the setup is that it's a bunch of people who've decided to go out into the woods and they've rented an old cabin to make a porn movie. That's the setup of the movie. Well, there's a sequence.
Granted, it has Brittany Snow, so it's like, okay, I kind of know what this is about.
Yeah. So, So there's a part related to that in this movie that led to my second best theatrical experience. The first one was Top Gun. But I'm watching this movie and a couple came in behind me, and I guess they didn't know what they were coming in for. Even though it's Ty West, even though it's R-rated, there's a sequence related to them making their porn movie that is pretty, I guess for mainstream, it's kind of graphic. And I hear the couple behind me, and the husband goes, "What the fuck?" And I just lost my shit. I just busted out laughing. It was so good.
We're so used to just seeing semen on the screen at this point.
Thanks for spoiling it, sir. Thanks for being spoilery. I was trying not to ruin the moment. But okay, there's something real gross in the movie. But it's like, whatever. I've seen this. But that guy was like, what the fuck?
That guy hadn't seen it.
It was.
He hasn't. Maybe he doesn't have kids.
It was very, very well Done.
Oh boy.
So that should be on your pretty immediate to watch list, you guys. I can't believe
Yeah.
you haven't seen
Where's
it.
my goddamn 4K?
Exactly. That's what I'm
I
saying,
already
too.
tell you already. I already bought X and Pearl. They're in my.
Oh, did you?
I
Yeah.
can't.
I'm waiting till
without
that.
4K.
I'm waiting for the A24 box set that we're
Yeah.
probably not going to get until after Maxine.
Yeah.
So
Yeah. So that was
Okay, so-
Nathan's number 2, right? So we're on Zach.
All right.
Yeah.
So, number 2, we're gonna get a little more somber here. You already know where this is going. So one of my favorite filmmakers, Gaspar Noé.
spoilers for my list, but we're talking about this later.
Wow, interesting.
Mm-hmm.
Oh.
Usually when he comes out with a film, it's I'm gonna fuck you up. Like I'm gonna show you some shit or spin the camera.
You still haven't said the name of it.
I know, I'm getting there.
Oh my
And-
God, Zach!
Shut the fuck up. This is my list.
Zach's like, this is my moment.
Yeah, it's like he.
God, we should have done the show Tuesday.
He will.
Yes, Austin in the chat, you need to watch X for real.
So he will typically come out and be like, "I'm gonna hurt you," as in almost like a punch. And so with his latest film, Vortex, name drop. I would say this is his most like. It's not. I'm gonna punch you. It's I'm gonna talk softly to you and hurt you mentally, and which hurts way more. So this is a film essentially about the last week and a half of an elderly couple's life together. And it is literally shot in split screen. There's this one beautiful scene at the very beginning where they're having a nice lunch. And then for the rest of the film, it literally comes down and splits. So even they're in the same scene, it's always shot from 2 different cameras. And Noé experimented with this in Lux Eterna. And he, holy shit, find it for Vortex. It was stunning to see on the big screen.
So this is also my number 2. Zach is
This is
losing
your number
words, so
2.
let me
I
jump
thought
in.
that you were.
No, this is also my number 2.
Okay.
Also, so and I want to talk about why this is my number 2 over Everything Everywhere All at Once, because it's a really tough one.
Yeah, this was.
And
I mean, they're both 10s.
Here's the reason. I think generally it is easier for me to go into a movie and feel joy, and Everything Everywhere All at Once is pure like joy. Like I was on a cloud coming out of that movie. This movie was the weirdest definition of a horror movie I've ever seen, in that
especially the last 3 minutes. Holy shit.
It makes you terrified for your own mortality.
Yep.
It makes you think about the fact that truly life is short and that you are going to die. And it's scary and one of the saddest movies I've ever seen in my life. And it impacted me in such a way that I have been thinking about that aspect of this movie since we saw it. Like it has not left, like it is sat on my heart since we saw this movie, because it hasn't been done in, for me, a more powerful way. And it's really weird that this is acted by the main actor is fucking Dario Argento. One of the greatest Italian directors of the 70s said, "Hey, you want me to show you how to act?" It's called Vortex.
Okay.
And it literally is 2 perspectives of an older couple's life from each of their perspectives. And one of them has a mental dementia, and the other one is just older and just sort of wearing out. And it's
I have never
beautiful and so devastatingly sad. Like I full on cried like hardcore in this movie.
We walk out into like we're all just like, the movie ends and we're like, holy shit.
And it wasn't just us. You came out of the theater from seeing Vortex and it was a pretty packed crowd.
It was like we were at a funeral.
Yeah. Everybody was dead silent stepping out of that theater.
I mean, we start to talk about it in the lobby and I just choke up and I'm like,
we got to wait a minute. We got to walk to the car before we can speak.
I can't talk right now. And I just cried for the next 15 minutes.
I think to be able to hit me on that level is much harder to do than what the feelings I got from Everything Everywhere All at Once. And that's the only reason those 2 are flip-flopped. And it's because I can't believe how hard this movie hurt me. and I love it for that.
I bought that deluxe edition. I get to unpack it.
I
I'm just not
opened
ready.
it.
I'm just not ready.
I've
man.
looked at the extras, but I haven't watched the movie again yet because
I have never felt like.
I got to get mentally ready for it.
I mean, yeah, it's the last week and a half of the people's lives. I have never felt a death so impactful
Spoilers.
like that film.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, someone or multiple people die. I've never felt something hit that hard.
To be fair, that's telegraphed in the trailers.
Yeah.
But I mean, I was like, oh my God.
This is literally a movie that's not about the end; it's about the journey.
Yeah.
And holy shit, like
You want to talk about 2.5 hours of literal hell.
but
But it's so good.
It's so well acted. It's beautifully shot.
Not
the,
a scene is
the
wasted.
split screen is not a gimmick.
No.
It is a tool for storytelling. There's times when these two people are in different rooms at the same moment, and you could just see what they're doing, and a lot of their decision making is based off what you know about them psychologically. And wow,
There's a
Wow.
moment where she's talking to someone saying, I don't know who that is in the other room. And the other camera angle is the husband sitting alone in a chair.
yeah,
God, it just fucking hits.
yeah.
Man, like,
And I don't know, this level of depression maybe doesn't sell it
Yeah.
for you, but I'm telling you, you got to fucking watch it because holy shit.
it just, if you're ever feeling too happy, you finish watching 7 and you're like, I'm still feeling pretty cheerful.
Let's just fucking like ruin the entire month.
Like,
Let's watch this.
I went home and I asked KJ, I'm like, can I have a hug? Like,
yeah.
it's
but-
phenomenal.
But yet you can't remember her birthday.
You can't remember. You got a hug, but you didn't remember the birthday.
Inside baseball.
But true.
That's why we're doing it tonight.
All right, let's move on.
Number one.
Number ones. All right.
Here we go, baby.
I'm going to save mine because I know Steven and I have the same number one now.
You know what? You just became my favorite person. Nico, what is your number one?
My number one is Everything Everywhere All at Once. It was tough. I really went back and forth on that and Banshees, and I do love Banshees a lot, and I know we'll talk about that in a bit. But I think the thing that really connected to me with Everything Everywhere All at Once, as the year kind of went by, it was, becoming a parent and just having a new dimension to connect with this movie. And
Look at Nathan. just look at
I relate so much to the Michelle Yeoh character of like, there's all this stuff that I want to do with my life, and I also know I have to accommodate being married and having a.
Uh-oh.
There they go.
Are they gone? Are you coming
Thank
back?
God.
I'll do that.
All right, he's
But
back.
I get the balancing act of wanting to have my own life, my own interests, and also wanting to be a good parent, and also making sure my kid doesn't fuck up and try to destroy the world and the multiverse and everything.
Watch
everywhere, all at
Turning Red on Disney Plus.
this is better.
Yeah, way better.
So yeah.
Yeah, there's no bagel in Turning Red.
Bagels.
Sucked
Um,
into a bagel.
Bagel.
Or
hot dog
I also
fingers.
think everyone does a fantastic performance. Michelle Yeoh, she knocks it out of the park. Stephanie Hugh, I forget the daughter. The
Yeah, I'm
actress's
pulling
name.
it
Yeah,
up.
Stephanie Hsu, her character.
Yes, it is super good. Ki Hugh Kwan coming out of retirement is great. I loved his Golden Globe speech, especially. When
It was
you
so
zoom in and realize-
good.
especially when you zoom in and realize he has a googly eye on his tuxedo.
Yeah.
That was great. Jamie Lee Curtis is phenomenal in a
She
a
disappears.
very
She disappears.
completely unrecognizable.
I love the
at me.
painting to her when Michelle Yeoh wins, and she's just like, "Yeah!"
It's just I love this movie a lot, and it's good.
Man, we'll talk about that one later.
Talk about it now. Since
I was gonna say, I think we should honestly talk about it now because it's everybody but one of us. It seems.
All right.
This was not what I expected. I fully, honestly expected this to be everybody's number one, and I will be straight with you. This was my number one movie all year long
Until
Like nothing came
Yeah.
close.
Well,
until what Tina and I have for our number one, which we'll talk about in a minute.
No, apparently Vortex unseated it.
What do you mean?
You have everything everywhere at number 3.
Yeah.
Well, apparently Vortex unseated it. Not Banshees.
Somewhere they both did. They both did. It was like my top 3 was a hardcore battle between those 3 films. I loved the look and feel of the movie. I loved the mother-daughter story. I don't know why I'm a sucker for mother-daughter stories, but I've kind of really enjoyed them since Lady Bird, to be honest with you.
I love that, like, pretty much every little what you think would be a throwaway line, like when she mispronounces ratatouille, comes back. Everything comes
Dude,
back.
like taking it even deeper than that, like when they're being audited and she's like, you're apparently a singer and a chef, and all those things are being set up right then. Like, holy shit.
And it's just like every time you think the movie is gonna make a very clean, like obvious ending, it subverts it. And James Wong is also amazing in this movie, and
it's so good to see him in this movie. He's been around for a long ass time.
Oh man!
And even the visual storytelling that's there, from the fucking spinning dryer at the beginning to the bagel at the end. There's so many layers. Nathan, I know you hated this movie, but I swear to God, you watched it in the wrong way. Watching it on the plane was a mistake.
Second viewing, when it showed the spinning dryer, I let out an audible gasp.
Yeah.
I was like,
yep.
This movie is so incredibly methodical. It is.
I want to watch it on January 22nd for Chinese New Year because
that's a great idea.
Yeah.
I'm making like traditional rice cakes. I'm making banh mi bowls. I have kimchi. I'm gonna make Korean potatoes.
I was gonna say those aren't Chinese dishes.
No, but I'm making.
You're going Asian with it anyway.
Yeah.
I'm making what I have in the fridge. Damn it.
What you can do, damn it.
Right,
so yeah, for me it was only where it is because, well, honestly, are we moving forward now?
Well, I was about to say,
go ahead.
I went and saw this movie 3 fucking times, and I don't know how many times I've seen it at home. It's just, God damn, it's one of those movies you sit down like, okay, one scene, and the whole movie just goes,
yep.
Oh my God.
So good.
I want to take a break now because I think Nathan's having an aneurysm.
My head hurts. Like my head hurts. I'm just like I was clenching my jaw so hard, my teeth hurt.
I feel like this is payback though for the like 2 different times you made Steven stop out of the room. But I want to go. But now is a good break time for Nathan's number 1.
There you go.
My number 1 was Top Gun Maverick.
We're talking about Top Gun.
And I will be completely honest. It's okay. A lot of the reason it's my number 1 was
you son of a bitch.
The shirtless man. But also it was just such a good, like, a lot of times sequels don't hold up or like capture as well as like the original. To me, this was better than the original.
I also think this made the original better.
Yeah, and I can agree with that too. I think the carry on of the story, knowing the emotional beat of the last movie and then how it was carried over into this movie and how it was able to incorporate like a whole new generation was really awesome.
I hadn't seen the first one.
You never saw the first one?
No. I thought it worked really well.
I want to touch on Steven's point about it making the first one better because I completely concur with that. I think it does add a much more emotional depth to the Maverick Goose relationship and the impact it has is integral to this movie, but also the Maverick Iceman relationship because you have this intense rivalry in the first one, and they do come together at the end of the first one, and then you see the impact that relationship has going into Maverick is a really important part of that film. And I do think I do think it's an excellent movie. I loved it. And seconding Steven, the theatrical experience of watching this movie on a big screen. I wish I saw it in IMAX like Zach, but
God,
just,
it was amazing.
Just that large screen alone and those jet scenes are just phenomenal. And I just love it, as much as it is easy to make fun of Tom Cruise, which it is. This guy knows how to make an action movie and make it feel like intense and thrilling.
And I'm not a huge Tom Cruise person, but what he does very well is when he dives into a character, he carries that character. And it was very consistent. I mean, he has Maverick down. Like, he is very consistent with that character. And just his timing with his looks in response to like the Jennifer Connelly scenes in the bar and stuff, and just like that was very entertaining. And I hate the Mission Impossible movies. I'm not a Mission Impossible person at all.
You are wrong, sir.
But I'm speaking for me. I do not like the Mission Impossible movies, but I could give me another Top Gun movie. Like, come on, let's go ahead and make a third one.
I don't want another one. I think they're perfect. I would please don't do another one.
I was like, we can just close it right here and have it be perfect.
So what I think we're talking about, what Tom Cruise does well. What he does well is, I think it's not even the acting. I think it's the insistence on filmmaking. Because part of what made these jet scenes and fighter scenes hit so well is they just used real planes for nearly all of it. Even if they weren't quite able to go as over the top as they could have done with CG. I think
he's hitting 10 Gs.
It's more believable.
Melting.
Yeah. You can CG an airplane all you want, but that drag on their faces and the impact on their bodies just felt real. And I felt myself like, Tom Cruise is not going to die in it, but I'm holding on to the seat watching this movie. It was a thrill. Now, what I had to do when I was trying to decide if it was top 10 worthy is I put it on in here and watched it again. Man, when that opening credit starts and that soundtrack just starts banging during the opening credits, I was with it. I'm like, shit, this is just a fun movie.
Those opening credits are phenomenal. They knew exactly how to get like the Danger Zone song in there. It's the perfect spot. It was like, God, it got you into the mood for the movie.
And there is a reason why it was the highest grossing film.
Yeah, last year. Because it really went back to old school filmmaking, and it surprised a lot of people how much fun that can be. And I was just happy it was as good as it was.
Held up. The story did hold up. Like,
well, and it wasn't complicated. It was a simple story, and that's for the better.
I know people have made fun of this. I don't care. It works. I mean, it is just the trench run of Star Wars. I don't care. It works.
Okay, so I'm kind of over this kind of reference, though. Like, Avatar is Fern Gully. Well, fucking Star Wars is every other samurai movie that was made 40 years before it.
Yeah.
Is it good?
Yes.
Is it good?
Yes.
That's what matters. Is it a common story arc?
Some Star Wars.
I don't care. It's good.
Yeah.
So I fucking love Fern Gully. Fuck you.
Tim Curry, baby.
But Fern Gully wasn't 3 hours long.
Yeah, true.
Yeah, it's better.
That is better.
I will say, just God, the IMAX sequences. You've seen them now.
You
can see the big difference it makes.
If you guys buy that 4K, it actually transitions to the IMAX sequences, which is beautiful, beautiful.
God.
And that I'm gonna say that 4K is gorgeous. So I support your number one choice. I support it. I'm here for it.
Steven and Tina now have.
Steven, I support your number one choice.
As do I support your number one choice, which is Banshees of Inisherin.
Now we can finally fucking talk about this movie.
I want to hear what Tina has to say. I thought I was going to be the only one with it at number one. So go ahead. Oh shit! Did she freeze?
Yep.
And that's why you don't have Banshees of Inisherin on your top 10 number one list. Otherwise, you freeze.
I keep hoping she's going to pop back in real quick, so I don't want to start without her. Oh Lord, did we just fully lose them now? They're back. All right, you guys.
I want to hear what Tina has to say.
And the internet's like, no, you don't.
Jesus. All right, go ahead.
There are so many reasons why I love this movie. One, it is a true up love story to Ireland. 2, it is at its core, it's just about human relationships. 3, it is also about the futility of what we're going to like be able to do in order to change our story. Like, okay, so what is the character's name? The old guy with the fingers.
Brendan Gleeson.
Colm.
Yeah.
Colm. Well, the actor's been, but the actor's the character name is Colm.
Colm.
Yeah.
Yeah. The trigger for everything that he does is, I want to leave behind something that I'm going to be known for. Bitch, you are on an island in Ireland that has a population of 5. No one's going to come and figure out you wrote this song. No one. You are not Mozart. You are not Beethoven. You are not whoever you.
Oh, I'm gonna hard disagree.
Oh, I'm hard disagreeing with that also. I am so opposite of that.
Let me finish. But on the flip side, you have Colin Farrell's character, who he doesn't care what he leaves behind. He wants to be with his donkey, and he wants to do his farm and all that stuff. And it's like, these two characters are complete opposites. But the character I find that speaks to me the most is Siobhan, who, she has this whole island life, and she's kind of stuck in this day-to-day thing. And the person who changes their fate the most in the story is her. Like, she decides to leave. She decides that, you know what, the only way my life's going to change, the only way my fate's going to change is if I take the action itself. So that's another reason why I love this. And it's just, God, there's just so many things about this movie that I find speak to just human nature overall. And it's just, there's also times when it's frustrating because I'm like, why are you being so dramatic? But now you're not being dramatic, but he's being an asshole, but now you like him being an asshole. I don't know. It's just, I
like the fascinating thing about this movie that I like, and Tina has her opinion about the Colm character. I love that this movie is really about the death of kindness and empathy. Like, the Colm character, I understand an aspect where he's coming from about wanting to be remembered for something creative, wanting to make something great. Like, he wants to leave his mark on the world, and I get that because that just makes a lot of sense from somebody with creative ambitions, which I can understand is probably where Steven's coming from.
Yeah, I know it's 100% where Steven and Zach are coming from.
But he goes too far to an extent where he cuts off a lot of the humanity in his life, and he sacrifices kindness. And the nicest person in his life, basically, Colin Farrell, is the collateral damage, and not just it being Podrick being cut out of his life. It's Podrick has a crisis of faith in kindness. Like, that rant that he has in the bar when he's
that drunken rant.
Like, I love that bit of dialogue because it almost feels like that's where everything's going to turn around, where he explains quite plainly the importance of kindness, even a way that almost gets to Colm. The whole, like, I understand you want to be remembered by other people, but I don't know who those are. I'm a simple man. I remember my mom because she was nice. I remember my dad because she was nice. I remember my sister because she was nice. It's like, on a grand scale, sure, other people might remember them, but as a personal level, you remember the people who are nice to you, who are good to you in your life, and that's what you, Colm, that Brendan Gleeson's character, are sacrificing and giving up. And I love that message, and it's sad because Colin Farrell loses that message, and his life is destroyed basically because the niceness is taken away from him. Both because of Colm and also because of his sister Siobhan going out and trying to escape the madness of Inisherin. And I love, there's a weird, interesting, surreal nature to the place too, because you have the bit about the Banshees lines. Like, when he names the song, it's like, there aren't any Banshees on Inisherin. It's like, I don't think Banshees, lure people to their deaths anymore. But then you have this creepy old lady, and it's there's so much I love about it. And again, love letter to Ireland. I love Ireland. I think also that kind of ties into Steven too, because I think the three of us are the ones that have been there. So there's a lot to love in this movie, and that's why it's my number 2.
Even when Podrick has that snapping moment when something very traumatic happens to him, and that's his breaking point towards Gollum, he doesn't forget the kindness in himself, because there's a point where he goes to the dog, he's like, make sure your dog's outside because your dog's not going to get hurt. It's like, I have nothing against your dog.
Oh shit.
And there they go. Fucking Comcast.
Oh my god.
Yeah.
All right,
did you hear my dog bit?
But
part of it.
All right, let's go ahead with Steven then, because we can go on more.
So obviously, I agree with 100% what you guys said, but this is part of what's wonderful about this movie is it's a simply told story with so much to say.
Yeah.
And while I 1000% disagree that his isolation detracts for any possibility of him being able to make an impact artistically,
yes, I agree.
because history tells us that that's just not fucking true, especially when it comes to music.
Yeah, but
especially when you talk
Mozart.
about. Well, I don't think he necessarily wanted to be Mozart. I mean, like I reference Steven Spielberg all the time, but I have no aspirations to be that. I'm a documentary guy. I think that's just sort of the artistic side of him trying to speak is all that is. If he writes the right little Irish ditty and takes it to this pub where he plays all the time, it can travel. It can travel the way that music traveled at that point in time. So I think the problem that he has, and I love this because I felt so much sympathy for Colin Farrell's character. Also, I agree, because everything you say is 100% true. And going into that, where he's talking about these are all the nice people in my life, that just speaks to the fact that Colin Farrell's character doesn't fucking understand where Brandon Gleeson's character is coming from artistically, and it sucks because the way Brandon Gleeson chooses to handle it does make a victim of Colin Farrell's character when he didn't mean to do it. But you have these people in your life sometimes that literally don't understand what you're trying to do. And are they holding you back? I love this as it connects to the Fabelmans, because you have a similar kind of relationship in some ways artistically between the father and the son. I just really tied in on that. I'm like, what do you do? Now, ultimately, obviously he made the wrong decision. The person who was the most right in this, that was right in the middle of the two of them, is the sister. Carrie Condon. She understood that too, that a desperate change has to be made to have the goal that they wanted to reach in life. You have to rip the Band-Aid off and make the change. The thing that she understood better than Brendan Gleeson's character is you don't have to leave all this collateral damage to do it. And I think that to me was the ultimate piece of it. You can do what you want to do artistically or with major life changes or whatever. You can still be nice though, because she did it the right way, and she was the example for both of them. I mean, her character should have ultimately spoken to both of the other two characters and say, listen, you've got to understand each other. But Brendan Gleeson, his character, obviously his fear of his mortality, which again, this goes into Vortex a little bit. We're talking about mortality, his fear of his own death, that it was so imminent that he had to do it now or it was going to be too late.
Well, the funny thing about it too, though, is he even says I have 12 years to do it. And I'm like, 12 years.
That's a long time to create a song that's going to last hundreds of years down the line. That's a long, or it's not a long time.
Yeah.
Because he's going to have to do a bunch of them before he gets it. So honestly, when you get to the point in your life where you're beyond middle age, you're in the last third of your life, 12 years seems real fucking short. It seems like nothing of time. So in that respect, I really understand from an artist and creative standpoint how you really want to be able to leave something. But it was so interesting. It was so fascinating to because while I fully locked in on his character, I thought, boy, you're fucking doing this wrong. God, you're really hurting somebody who cares about you. But then also Colin Farrell's characters, I'm like, you don't get it. You don't get what's happening. You could probably break through to him better if you understood where he was coming from. You know what I mean? Colin Farrell just wanted to continue doing the same thing he had done every day for his life and wanted to continue doing that until he was dead.
Yeah.
And the
And-
reason it's number one for me on the list, like I look at Everything Everywhere All at Once, I know it's a big contention place. Emotionally, Vortex just surpassed everything for me. But I look at Everything Everywhere All at Once, and it's too stuffed for me at times. Like it doesn't take a breath when it probably more people like Nathan would have connected to it better if it took a breath. But then I look at at Banshees, and Banshees Banshees is a 10 out of 10 script. I would do nothing to that script. Nothing. I would do nothing to that movie. The pacing is beautiful. You said, it's a love letter to Ireland without being a love letter to Ireland. It's just, let's just shoot this fucking beautiful and show you what we got.
I was about to say, this is the movie with best cinematography.
And then outside of that, the big overarching story is you've got this war happening across the way that's saying to both of these characters, you are small in the world. Mm-hmm. There's big fucking things happening. So I don't know.
I love that it shows for every act of unkindness and for every act of kindness, there's going to be some kind of repercussion. Like the one time Podrick is unkind when he tells that traveler, your dad died or whatnot. When he's telling that to Dominic, his one friend left on the island, who they just keep down talking to because he's not all there, and Dominic's like, you're just like the rest of them. I thought you were a good person, and you're an asshole like the rest of them. And he just walks off. And it's like
it hits so hard. It's like, oh my God, it hit so hard. Yeah. Well, that's it. I guess that's
10.
that is our top 10. Oh, and by the way, when Carrie Condon lost the Golden Globe last night,
I thought you shit your pants.
I about shit my pants because she's so damn good. She's so good. And I still think she could get a supporting actress award at the end.
I would like Angela Bassett, right?
Yeah, Angela Bassett won it. And Angela Bassett is a great actor, but that movie is not good. We didn't get a chance to talk to it, but Black Panther Wakanda Forever is not good.
I do not like that movie. I like Angela Bassett in that role in that movie, but I do not like that movie.
Yeah, okay. All right, so that is all of our top 10s.
Look, we came in 15 minutes shorter.
But, okay, so real quick, I just want to run through these real quick. I'll tell you where we were. Because I told you I did a top 20. I did what Zach said. I did a real shitty movie for my top 20th, and it was Fall.
Yeah.
We've forgotten about how much fun and how poignant Jackass Forever was. That was my number 19.
Oh, man.
Number 18 was Bones and All. So it really got fucking bumped. Wow. But it just did.
Yeah.
Men was not my number 17. I know it's really divisive, but I kind of love it for that. Number 16 is The Outfit. No one's talking about this movie, and it's fucking great. Number 15 was the documentary on my list this year. It got bumped so hard.
I noticed that. I'm like,
it got bumped so hard. I got to tell you guys to watch it. It's called Santa Camp. And when you watch it, Zach, you're going to be mad because it is straight up a documentary we would have done. It's a documentary about a camp, a camp for training Santas, department store Santas. How
you gotta be shitting me.
Most of my documentaries were crime documentaries. So
okay, well, this one is on HBO Max. And what's so fascinating about it is this filmmaker comes in to do this documentary at a time when the Santa camp is realizing that they need to be more inclusive. So there's a real, and Santas are all older people. So there's some real interesting, it's like they tripped and fell into something that's more than what they were doing, which we kind of know how that works. And it's really good. Go watch it. Number 14 was Terrifier 2. Number 13 was Barbarian. Pearl was 12. And 11 is After Sun. And it hurt me so hard not to have After Sun.
That was the one movie
in my top 10.
Belcourt showed it for like a week.
And that's when I saw it. After Sun is an A24 movie that's a father-daughter story. It's a character piece about a weekend they have together. And it's beautiful and beautifully acted. And
I would love to see it. It's not playing anywhere. It's not streaming anywhere.
Yeah, it's an A24, so it's going to be a minute before you can get it. It's all right. So because I did 100, I have so much shit in here. My worst movies of the year. Blacklight was number 10 because I kind of like it because it's bad. Number 9 is Dog because fuck that movie. Number 8 is Downton Abbey because fuck that whole franchise.
Fuck that movie.
Yeah. Number 7 is Sonic 2 because it's bullshit. Number 6 is Morbius because it's Morbin time. Number 5 is Halloween Ends because double fuck that movie. Yeah. Number 4 is Jujutsu Kaisen O because it's nothing but a fucking 2 episodes of the show and I didn't know what was happening. And number 3 was Memory because Liam Neeson's too old for this shit. Number 2 was American Underdog because Shazam needed something to do between movies. And number 1 was the fucking Crawdads because they suck. There you go. That's
Where
I
does
almost-
Crawdad sing?
Yes, that was my number 1
almost
worst movie
was
of the year.
I was almost gonna make that my joking, my troll of like how I did with Steven with The Dead Don't Die.
All right.
Nathan's so mad about that.
Real
Let's
fast.
wrap it up before Nathan kills you.
Real fast. My worst film I saw, and this can be streaming or theater otherwise.
Yeah.
Texas Chainsaw Massacre.
Yeah, it's bad.
And then the biggest disappointment was Decision to Leave.
Oh, you want to know what my hardest movie to not have that I couldn't put on the list because it was streaming only that I would have put? The Sickness.
Shit.
Yeah, The Sickness is fucking great.
That would.
And I already
The
sadness. Yeah, and I already know Nathan's worst movie of the year was Everything Everywhere because he hates it.
Yep.
Do you guys have a worst movie that you saw this year?
We're the yin to
Black
your
Panther.
yang.
Black Panther was the worst.
No.
Reasonable
for-
choice.
We gotta go.
Hold on.
All right,
For
Tina,
me,
do you have one?
Yeah, I just gotta get my list. Listen, I don't know. For me, I don't know. I'll say Black Panther until I can find my list of movies that I saw.
All right, to be continued.
All right.
Because I know we got to wrap this baby up. Nathan, where do you find you on the internet?
Nate_R_70 on Letterboxd and Instagram.
Nice. Tina?
You can
Perfect camera cut right there.
You can find me on both major social medias under Cheddar Popper, CHEDRPOPPR.
KTLA5. Man.
Nico?
You can find me on nicholasqualls.com. I just made one URL that you can go to find my Twitter, my Instagram, my Letterboxd.
Nice.
Check out my Dungeon 23 project. It's in the D&D community on Twitter is doing a hashtag Dungeon 23 where you make a dungeon room a day to kind of help, mapping and kind of creativity. So check that out. Go to everything I'm doing at nicholasqualls.com.
Well, you know that Twitter's all fake news now. What's wrong with you?
It's not fake. It's still a real thing.
All right, Zach.
You can find me on Letterboxd on MasterZ91, and you can also find me on Discord as well as Steam as a dangerous mute lunatic.
Okay,
All
okay.
right, fine.
My worst
Okay.
movie.
Oh, here we go.
Don't Worry, Darling.
Oh, yeah.
That's a good
That
choice.
was bad.
That's a
I
good choice.
I would go back and forth between that and Black Panther.
Look
I
at
don't know which one.
Nathan's
I
so
think Black Panther
butthurt.
frustrated me more.
I will go back and forth between Don't Worry, Darling and Jurassic World Dominion.
Oh, that's a good choice too.
That's a good choice too. Nathan's so mad. It's so
Nathan, Nathan, it's fine. You can be the yin to our yang.
All right.
All right. So find me on everything OTS movies. I'm doing pushing 150 this year because I'm stupid. So you can find that. Follow that on TikTok and Letterboxd. We will
All right.
see everybody next week.
Bye, everybody.
Bye.